Debate, Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe. Hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere, and there's also a Ko-Fi, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Speaking of Patrons, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon. So, a massive shout of thanks and appreciation to Gary Hughes, Measured Flat, Chris Wouters, Mr. Amish, Sensual Goat, Mitch Kennedy, Rod Twodwazzle, Jason Hornsby, Christoph Fournier, Flat Earth Travolta, J Mel's 24, Unimento, Endless Goldie McKiernan, Retro Bill. While I scroll down. Retro Bill, Level Plain Poem, Michael Kahn, John Kays, Patrick Gunnels, Banter, Mel B Styles, Harry Blade, Mobile Mac 777, Rob W, Del West Watson, Unbelievable Productions, Blue Ridge Ranger, Abraham Mohammed, Skeptic 936, Life is Short, Texas Mike, Chow Young Cat, David Wayne Foster, and Dank. So another massive thank you to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. Now I will hand over to whoever is in Discord and Google so you can enjoy their dulcet tones while I set up for today's live show.
Okay.
I mean, he does FE bullshit. One of his last videos about the Cathars was pretty mind blowing. I always heard about the Cathars, didn't really know what they was about or anything. But whenever I watched that video, it was pretty much what I've been coming to the realization last 5 years. Which is kind of interesting.
Okay. So for you, he still brings out the interesting content.
Right. Yeah. Very interesting content.
See, Jado, Matthias managed to one-up you as to why he's the best. Well, Matthias didn't say he's the best, but he gave his reasons to why he thinks he's still relevant. I do know that when I voice verify people, a lot of people, majority of people say they came to FE through him. Still to this day. Well, of course, a lot of people that are voice verified may have been in FE since like a while, right? But he's one of the persons that people say they came to FE the most to. They say they've watched that, like the 200 proofs or whatever it was called.
Hello?
Hello, Neil. Yeah, Neil, we
What's
were just oh, go on, it's Central.
Just quickly, I think it's Fed 2016. It's got 1,000 views. I think it's 2017. It's got 2,000 views, and that's got Owen Benjamin on. So I'm wondering, is the doubling of numbers, is that from people already subscribed who are more people are watching it who are already subscribed, or was that people typing the names of those people into the search, and then this video is coming up in the algorithm in that search, and so new people are watching it? Just what do you reckon it is?
That's a good point, because I remember the way I came to Nathan's show originally a long time ago is I watched an FE debate, and it just had FE and debate in the title, and the algorithm connected that to Nathan's show for next suggested videos. So that's how I found Nathan. So that's a good point. The one that I can attest to. Because yeah, people might be looking for more, let's say, Eric Debate videos, right? And all of a sudden Eric Debate is in Nathan's video title. So that could be one of them.
And then it might come up in the search when I type his name in.
Yeah. Yeah. We got to realize there's a lot of people in all kinds of camps, right? There's people in the Witsa camp, there's people in the Nigerian camp, and how do I put it? Like when we have friendly fire and we upset one camp, it could deter them from sticking to this camp. Like let's say they'll be fine with Nathan, right? But then all of a sudden Nathan will do a hit piece on like let's say Jaren, or I wouldn't say hit piece, but let's just say like a review video or something. And if they find something that was upsetting, even though they may agree that Jaren was wrong or something like that, but if they find something upsetting, they may end up making an ultimatum and choosing one camp or the other. And that was a
Well,
result
that's
of
their
that.
problem.
Well, I'm thinking in terms of like the show, right? Like Nathan's growth, right?
Nathan's growth is always going to be the same way, slow and steady, but eventually.
All right.
Hey, guess what? Guess who I delivered to yesterday, Righteous?
Mike Tyson?
No. Think more on lines of what we do here, Flat Earth Debate. Anyway, I'll tell
Danny
you, Dean
Faulkner?
Odell. I delivered
What?
to
Dean
Dean
Odell?
Odell's church, Grace and Fire,
Oh.
or Fire and Grace.
Oh, you're in that area. Okay. I said Danny Faulkner
Yeah.
on second try, so that was pretty close.
No, I'm not going to his state. Yeah, it was interesting though, because some lady came and took the order. First of all, he gave me a $25 tip. It's like the biggest tip I ever got here doing DoorDash. So it was good. And I said, listen, tell Dean I said hello. She goes, oh, you know Dean? I said, yeah. He said, brother in Christ, and also he knows that Earth is flat. So like her eyes lit up. I said, yeah, and we want to talk to him at Flat Earth Debate. On the panel of a debate show that we debate daily concerning the nature of our reality. And we heard his debate where the guy kicked him out, and we want to talk to him a little bit. So we'll see if he contacts me.
Okay. What did she say though?
No, she said, okay. She gave him the message and took the info, and that's it.
That's it. Back to business after that. He didn't stick around.
Yeah. Well, at first, because like when it comes through as like a high-paying order, and it was $6.50. But it was close. That's why they consider it high-paying, because the pickup was like a minute away, and the delivery was a minute away. So you knock it out quick. So I'm ending it thinking I'm going to get $6.50, and boom, a $25 tip was added. So I'm sure she went and told him, and the tip followed.
All right. Well,
I was actually surprised. There was a lot of people there.
okay, that's good. What was the order? What what did it buy?
Oh, they ordered Guthrie's. It's like a chicken place. Really, really nice chicken tenders and stuff. A couple of big buckets. It was 2 big bags. So, but I had no idea. As I'm getting closer, I said, "Whoa, could this be I'm delivering to Fire and Grace Church?" And sure enough, that's what it was. I was hoping to see him, but I mean,
you're
I
in
could
the
have
area.
asked for him, but
You're in the area. You could join one of his services one day and maybe even have a private chat with him.
yeah, that's what I intend to do. Because right now we're not sure on which church we want to go to, so we are going to pay that church a visit.
Okay. Well, that sounds all right. Maybe that was the Lord's leading to deliver that food there, so you can get hooked up with that
Oh,
congregation.
listen,
So to say.
it's definitely the Lord's leading, because we are so far behind, and I'm like at my wit's end. Like, how am I going to come up with the money I need to come up with? I'm already 3 days late in the rent. And it's been like, you know what it is? There's so many people doing DoorDash, right? So it's like not what it used to be. So it's a real struggle for me to make $150 in a day. I mean, a real struggle. And then bang, that order came in. So it's like God telling me, I got you. Don't worry about it, which I shouldn't be worrying about anyway.
Right.
What does the word of God say? Don't worry about these things.
Right. Cast your cares
Can't
upon
gain
him,
an
for
inch
he
to your
careth for you.
stature.
That's right. So if I want to add an inch to your stature, I won't add 1 penny to your bill either.
Correct. And I try to relay that to my wife. I said, okay, grinding your hands and worrying is not going to pay the bill. So why do it?
Right. I notice when people worry, it actually makes things worse.
Yeah, worse
Worrying
on your
actually
health.
makes things worse. Well, worse than a lot of things. There's absolutely no good that comes from it. That's for sure. In fact, if you don't worry, that's when things work out.
Well, you don't want you don't want a carefree attitude. Like, oh, well, that's different. It's like I try to get to my wife and said, listen, we've been in this how many years? The bills are always paid. We always have food on the table. We always have clothes on our backs. All right. And when we're able to, we do a little something with the family. What are you worried about now? So we'll be a little late on everything. So freaking what?
Life goes on, right?
Yeah, you're just going to be a little late. I mean, I'll probably come up with it. If I'm going to guess, probably by the 6th, I'll have everything I need. And if the people I rent from are upset about that, I do believe there's a week grace period you do get, and we've never been, since we've been here, it's always been the 1st or the 2nd the rent's been paid. So, what are you going to freaking do? A couple of things come in that you're not ready for, that'll knock you back, and then you're behind.
Okay.
I tell you what burns me up the most. Why do I gotta give the state of Alabama $200 and change to register my car? For a sticker, for one little sticker that goes on the license plate.
Oh, they got rid of the sticker system in our area. It's all done online now. No more sticker on the license plates anymore. It's done another method.
Yeah, I've done mine online, but they still mail you a sticker you got to put on your plate.
Yeah, we don't got to do that here anymore in Ontario, Canada. Done away with.
Well, that sucks. That means they got you all right in the system. And if they want to run your plate, they'll run your plate. Well, they run your plate anyway, no matter where you are, so it doesn't matter. But it's just that, come on, really? So every year I got to give you $200 so I can drive my car? Really, I wish I knew more about that free man stuff.
That's the thing. That's a price to pay too. If you are get invested in the freeman stuff, your time's going to be eaten up with that. So that's a price to pay also. Time is a price to pay, Neil. So you pay one way or another.
Yeah, exactly. And even if you do, that upside down, inside out, the officer may not know it, and you're going to wind up before the judge. So what is it worth it?
Well, I don't know. I'm more interested in the law of God and stuff like that. That's the ultimate law. How things really work in the
Yeah, I am
world.
too. But we live in this system.
Right, we live in the system, but what do I say? Knowing the law of God will, how do I say, you'll be privy on how to navigate this system best. Okay? Even better than the so-called Freeman understanding of the whatever movement that is. Right? Because there's
Well, it
certain
says you could
rules
drive
and
it says you could drive your car as a traveler, right? And you don't need plates, you don't need anything. If you're just a traveler, they can't stop you from driving. Yeah, but you will be before the judge if you get pulled over with no license plates on your car.
right,
It's that
right.
simple.
Yeah, it'll be a hassle, and you're always. That's what I mean. There's a better way, and people aren't finding that better way, right? There's a better way. It's there, right?
The heck is Nathan?
He's
Yeah.
probably making coffee, making some breakfast, eating a donut, something like that. All right, I'm
Now,
guessing.
if he was
So-
making coffee, you'd hear the counters getting banged around.
True. Hello, Nathan.
Hello.
It looks like Neil is bored with my chat. He wants to talk to you now. I think you're roboting now, Neil, or
Anyway,
something.
I'm in serious pain.
Oh, you're good. You're good. You're in serious pain.
Yeah, the Rangers lost the other night. That's it. They're done. They're out.
Boo-hoo-hoo.
Well, you might have the cup going back to Canada. You got the Edmonton Oilers against the Florida Panthers.
Matthias, is that you roboting? You gotta get close to the fridge, Matthias.
Oh, what? It probably was. I said bread and circuses.
Yeah, well, people have been trying to convert Neil from
Neil,
away
you
from that
probably
stuff.
remember. Well, I think I could probably. Hey, Neil, do you remember back in probably it was either the late '80s or early '90s, when the whole the baseball league they all went on to strike because they wasn't getting paid enough to play a fucking game. Oh, sorry, to play a game.
A game that they worked their whole lives and they should get paid. What do you want it to go to the owners?
I'm asking. It's a yes or no question, Neil. Do you remember it was either in the late '80s or early '90s when all the baseball players went on strike, crying because they
help
didn't
you.
get paid enough to play?
It was 1994, and the Yankees were destined to win the World Series. Yes, I remember. What's the point?
Right. So, getting paid millions of dollars to play a game, and they cried about it. You don't see the problem there?
No, you don't see the problem. They don't all get millions of dollars. Why don't you look into it? The stars get millions. You got regular players on the team that make a good salary. Now, they were fighting for everybody. And the workman is worthy of his meat, worthy of his labor, okay? These guys gave their whole lives. This is not just something they went and did. They start from youth up and they work their way up. They don't get the money. The owners were getting all the money. Stop crying about it.
Okay. So, right. So, how long does a baseball game usually last, Neil?
There's 162 games in a season. In between
How long does one
2 to 3
game
hours
last, Neil? Like how many
per
hours?
game.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about. 2 or 3 hours, right? And you said there's what 162 games in a what?
Yeah. Oh, you don't think that you think they just show up and play, huh? You really? You know nothing about it, Matthias. Nothing.
All right,
So
let's
thank
stop-
you
let's
for
stop-
He
attacking
hasn't
my
made his point yet, Neil.
Okay, give me your whole point. I'll try to refrain.
Right. So a 2 or 3 hour game, How much do you think that the lowest paid baseball player gets for that 2 or 3 hours per game, just on
But
average?
see, that's my point. It's not 2 or 3. It's not the game itself. You
It's
got a
not his
whole off
question.
season that you
He's
got to be
leading
there
you.
for.
Neil, you're just
It's
being
not just
awkward.
the game.
Neil, it's not his question.
Then it's a malformed question because you're not getting paid just for the game.
He didn't ask if they just got paid for the game. That's not what he asked. Ask again, Matthias. He's leading you, Neil. Just play along.
Okay, let me try to rephrase the question. I guess you could take the games played per season and what they make per season, and then divide that by how many games. You know, I don't know. It just seems like they're getting paid too much, in my opinion, to play a game. And yes, Anil, I do agree that, you know, because that's what I wanted to be whenever I grew up as a kid, was a baseball player. I was good
Hold
at
on.
baseball, man.
Hold on. What was your actual point? They're getting paid too much.
Yeah, but like he said, in '94, all the baseball players went on strike because they was crying because they wasn't getting paid enough to play a game. I mean, it's not like it's strenuous labor. It's not like they're out in the oil field, you know, slinging pipe, or in the
Wow.
coal mine, you know, risking their lives.
I think we can cut this short by saying, Matthias, you're trying to take sports from Neil, like the globe from a glober. It's not going to work. Not going to work.
Well, I'm just saying it's bread.
It's
Well, my whole point was it's bread in the circuses to begin with.
right, but we still watch movies sometimes. So in a sense, we still partake of bread and circuses in a sense, to some extent also. So this is what he
Correct.
enjoys as entertainment. So
Right.
Yeah, he
let him
just
enjoy
showed
it.
his ignorance in it. He thinks it's just a game they play, and there's no work that gets
Right.
involved.
His
That's
only
not
point was
involved in
that
that.
his only
Talk to
point was
John
that they get
Shelton.
paid too much. That was his only point. Do you not agree?
No, I don't agree. The money's going to come in. It's either the owners are going to get it or the players are going to get it.
So it's called sports entertainment, right?
I think Neil's response to you is, regardless, it's how much it's separated out amongst the people who've done the work. Yeah? And Neil's saying, if the players are only getting 2 or 3% and the owners are getting 97, 98%, then that's unfair, regardless of what the actual percentage is. That's Neil's counter argument to you, Matthias.
Right, but the players did sign a contract, and if it wasn't for the owners, they wouldn't be playing the game to begin with.
If that's true.
So, I mean, I just don't see how they went on strike and went against their signed contract. To me, that seems very staged, if you will. Like I said, it's sports
Matthias,
entertainment,
that's a
right?
flaw. Hold
Just
on.
like wrestling,
As a flaw cover. Hold on.
just like wrestling is sports entertainment. Wrestling, we all know, is fake, staged, stage performance. So go ahead, Neil. Hello?
Yeah, I am busy right now.
Oh, that's cool. But yeah, like I was saying earlier, you know, that's kind of what I was hoping to be, was a baseball player, because I was really good at it whenever I was a kid. I was just like you. As a kid, sit down as a family, watch, Cubs and Cardinals baseball on the weekend, with the family. Everybody, my brother liked the Cardinals and me and dad liked the Cubs. And I, I, I don't know. It's just, whenever I heard that they went on strike because they wasn't getting paid enough to play a game, that just kind of, I don't know, it just kind of shot my whole dreams down the drain. You know, and I think ever since then, we even stopped watching baseball as a family after that happened, and I kind of, was led astray from it, you know.
I'll be back in a minute.
Yeah, I remember in school, grade school, we always played baseball.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm English, so I don't know, but is baseball played with respect to a plane of reference?
Oh, fuck. My God.
It's what was I gonna say? I remember we played like soccer with like a tennis ball. That wasn't definitely on a plane. Like that ground wasn't always even all the way. I think that was my favorite. Playing soccer with a tennis ball. That was the best in grade school. I think baseball was a bit boring. It was like, oh, you gotta wait. You gotta wait. You gotta keep waiting. Then you finally batter up, and then you get in trouble for swinging, letting go of the bat towards the catcher. I actually hit somebody once one time like that. But I was notorious for doing that. I would always let go of that bat as soon as I hit it, and I would person behind me had to watch out. It was alright. Usually, when our teacher, grade 8 teacher, needed a break to like mark assignments and stuff like that, the principal would come and teach, and he would do one or two things. He would do like some nice what was it like what was like puzzles or like brain things, whatever things, or he would say, "Let's go outside, guys, and play baseball." So that was nice. So instead of doing schoolwork, we'd be outside playing baseball. So at least there was that.
Good morning, folks.
Hey, good afternoon.
Hello, George. Is that it? Just one hello? Wow, what a great start. Fantastic.
Hello, Nathan.
Hello, Mush. You do a bit of housekeeping. Hopefully that'll get some of you in the mood. We'll see how we get on. Yes, Nathan, we're really keen. Oh, well, that's good to know. Any scientific evidence of gravity? Don't you guys spend all week debating this subject?
Negative.
No? No one providing you with scientific evidence of gravity?
Negative. There is no scientific evidence for the concept.
What about evidence of the R value, Earth radius?
Oh, that's more like it. We're gonna need a flat plane for that.
Yeah, that's starting to sink in, George. You tend to be around while we're over in politics and various other places that we've been over the last couple of months. Do you think this is starting to sink into the people that we're putting it across to?
Some people, not everyone.
So Mark
They
Sargent
still
dropped it into one of his shows. Someone pointed it out at the end of it last week. Shout out to Jardo. Says, Neil, if you admit that you're religiously watch Globebusters, which I know you do, I'll donate memberships. Let's repeat that again. Neil, if you admit that you religiously watch Globebusters, which I know you do, I will donate memberships. Thank you for the super chat, Jardo. Neil, you don't have to feel obliged to do anything.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear. I was just dropping my wife off. What I missed?
Just need to say, I love Globebusters and watch it religiously.
Oh, no, that I cannot do.
Can you say that you watch it religiously? Because we all know you do.
That I cannot do either.
Is it not true?
Not true. I don't know when the last one I even saw was.
Okay, he doesn't want to admit to it, Jardo. I'll take the hit on the memberships. But thank you for the super chat. I can't remember the last time I watched the Globebusters. I listen to people moan about it all the time. Someone literally moaned about it yesterday. Who was it? It was someone from the chat. It was a regular from the chat. Oh, who was it? It was one of my mods. I can't remember who it was. One of the mods came into the show that I published at 9 PM. What I typically do come Thursday, Fridays is I'll go through the last, let's say, 30 shows and pick one or two for the weekend. And I tend to go on, I narrow it down by, number one, how many views it's had by the members only, how many likes it's had from members only, and how many comments. And then I'll skim through the comments and try and familiarise myself with which show it was, and then watch maybe a little bit of it to get an idea of whether or not it was a good show, because you tend to remember, oh yes, I remember this show, it was good. And then I'll publish it. So I published that, and there was someone in the chat going, I just can't watch Globebusters anymore. I get 5 minutes into it and I'm immediately triggered by what they're saying. And I said, well, what is it that triggered you? And they're like, being in there triggers me. I've just got to, it's my fault. I've got to do better. It's my own problem. And I'm like, no, but what is it that triggers you? That went on for about 2.5, 3 minutes in this live stream chat. And eventually the person told me, well, they didn't even tell me. They said it's because Witsit was on it. And I was like, okay, say no more. I think I probably can read between the lines about what it is that frustrates you about Globebusters currently. So I didn't know. I don't know who the panel is anymore. I'm sure it's completely different to the last time I watched 5 years ago or whatever it was. Bob Nodell was still alive last time I was. Probably the last Globebusters I watched was probably the one I was on. So I literally don't know who's on it. So I can only assume, obviously, Witsit's part of the Globebusters panel now.
The problem is, Nathan, it's unwatchable. It really is.
How would you know? You don't watch it. You can't remember the last time you watched it. And I've sacrificed memberships being gifted because you wouldn't admit to that. So how can you possibly have an opinion now?
Okay, because if you go to watch it, it's nonsense and you turn it off. So how do you watch it? That was about maybe 2 months ago I turned it on.
Okay, and what are they talking
If you
about?
want me to lie...
No, I want you to tell me what they're talking about, because I didn't get the skinny from the guy in the chat yesterday.
The one I tried to watch, they were immediately into the Van de Graaff generator and ether and all the other nonsense and their version of gravity. How do you listen to something like that?
But they're debunking the Van de Graaff generator. It's a particle accelerator, right?
I don't know. I didn't listen to it that long. Once I heard that, I just checked. I signed out.
Well, they don't like particles, do they?
No, they don't believe that they exist, but they use it when they want to use it.
Okay, is that it? So double speak. Okay, that's frustrating. I can appreciate that. I didn't intend to.
Not only do they double speak, but they're promoting something like Johnny did last week, called ether, that does not exist. They're giving you everything else but what ether is. If we're trying to discover something, shouldn't that be something that we are trying to discover?
I don't know. The show's called Globebusters. I would have thought it was primarily about busting globes. Maybe I'm missing something.
No, you're thinking of a show called Ballbusters that really destroys the globe and demonstrates how Earth is measured flat. That's the show you got to watch. And there's another one called Flat Earth Debate. Subscribe today. It's the best show on the earth.
So, Mark Sargent was in our chat a couple of days back, and someone, again, I couldn't tell you who, one of the chat participants said to Mark, why don't you mention the fact that Earth's measured flat? And Mark replied to words of the effect, I'll give it a go. I'll see if I can incorporate it into my spiel. No worries. Within a couple of days, he's done his show with Karen, and in the show, in his opener, he did it with such gusto. He said Earth is measured, the fact that Earth is measured flat. And then he got on with his show. It was like the last thing he added onto his pre-show spiel. And I couldn't have been prouder I went and dug it out and listened to it and timestamped it in his comments. So I was like, yeah, it's nice to hear people banging a drum that's worth banging. So shout out to you, Mark, if you're out there listening. Thank you.
Hi, Nathan.
Yeah,
Go on, one Dick.
Just saying, I think I've been on the politics a few times, just hitting hard the fact that Earth's measured flat. And I do find sometimes, depending who's on there, they don't seem to like it sometimes. They like to, I've been pulled up for it, for not allowing the person I'm debating or talking to carry on with the conversation, say of that the North and South poles or star movements in the southern hemisphere, because I'll cut them off straight away and explain that they're going to need a flat Earth for that, or they're going to need an R value which they haven't got, and it sort of stops any nonsense conversation, I find. But I think sometimes they don't enjoy that because it's just getting straight to the point and cuts out a lot of the talk really and the nonsense of everything else that goes with a presupposed globe. That's what I've found anyway.
Okay. I mean, maybe it requires a bit of caveat then. So if we are to progress with the conversation as you want to, that is to say, utilise a flat Earth measurement to move forward in your globe claim, so long as you will accept that everything you go forth with claiming will ultimately prove a flat plane because that's the origin measurement that you're using, then I'm happy to have the discussion. In other words, your victory from this point forth is my victory because Earth was measured flat for you to make all of these claims. So long as they can accept that, then yeah, I'll listen to you waffle on about orbital motion. And when you're done, I'll say, well, that's an excellent flat Earth proof, as that's where the origin measurement began. Therefore, it's only got a measurement on a flat Earth to thank for its success.
the problem is it ends the debate. That's what I'm understanding. People like to talk. And what we're saying, it totally ends the debate. You can't go nowhere.
Yeah, it proves Earth's flat.
And
so,
I think... Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. It proves Earth's flat, and I think a lot of flat earthers don't realise that they're not actually flat earthers. They've spent their last few years debunking heliocentrism rather than proving that the Earth is flat. And because they've extended their knowledge of heliocentrism so far, they want to flex their heliocentric understanding on others. And to be in that discussion, you've got to be begging the question that Earth is a sphere to begin with, rather than understanding that the inference that Earth is a sphere has come from measurements of Earth being flat. Once you do understand that, like Neil's just said, that is the end of the debate, because you're not discussing the possibility of it being flat. You're claiming it's a ball with the flat Earth measurements that all of us use. So once you understand that, you understand that all roads lead to a flat Earth. And it is the end of the debate.
Yeah, I had a situation exactly like you just described it now on the politics service 24/7. When a baller came in, and part of his argument was orbits, and everyone jumped on the guy that he was begging the question. And I said, well, hold on a second, guys. Be reasonable. Let him finish his claim. And the guy's saying, what? Can't do that. I said, well, he's going to need a flat plane for his orbits. And I went through the process, and in the end, it was it. The conversation was finished, because you're going to need a flat plane for the claim, regardless what it is.
Yes. It's weird. This first occurred when it was Witsit Gets It, as we were, I don't know if we were discussing it at the beginning of the last show or pre-show, I forget now. But in either event, we were watching Witsit discuss it, or debate it with another opponent, I forget who. And in his debate, he's undermining and attempting to debunk heliocentrism for its failings. And we're critiquing him, saying, well, actually, no. Their successes are our successes. The only reason the heliocentric model is as good as it is because it's come from accurate measurements of a flat Earth to give you the angles, to give you the ephemeris, to give you the celestial sphere, to put it in orbital motion, to derive the R value. Once you've got all those things that are very much flat Earth-centric and measured, you can start inferring sphericity. So their win is our win. And what you've done differently, George, is to say, well, rather than just pointing out that they're begging the question, maybe we're to blame for that, because for the longest time that's what we've been telling them. You're just assuming your outcome, which is fallacious in its reasoning. But in the actual proof of the first premise, that's sphericity, you need to start measuring the fact that we are on a sphere and showing that. When you can't, and every single claim that you can ends up with a flat Earth measurement being the origin, the only conclusion is that Earth is as measured, flat. It'll take time.
Some flat earthers still. I think some flat earthers still like to talk about like you say, the heliocentric model. They get wrapped up in the gravity talk and the sun, the lights in the sky, and because they've been doing it for that long, that's what they've been doing, debating that heliocentric globe model claim. And I think some of them, when it cuts down to the nitty gritty, and you can just point out that it's measured flat, like you say, it's over quite quickly. And they've not been used to that. They like that to and fro in and arguing and debating the other topics within that model. I think that's what I'm finding anyway.
So is it safe to say that the globe is measured flat too?
One more time, Neil.
Is it safe to say that the globe is measured flat as well?
Yeah, the inference of sphericity comes from flat Earth measurements, so your wording isn't strictly accurate, but the sentiment certainly is. You can't measure the globe flat. To infer that we have a globe, you will start with flat Earth measurements and start converting them. But refracted curvature sum this up beautifully. The way that the argument has progressed until now is they utilise a flat plane to claim they've got a sphere, and they stack it up in false dichotomy against what they say is our flat Earth claim. And then one of them will win, and because they've used a flat plane to claim they're actually claiming a sphere, the uninitiated listen on and go, well, that proves a globe then. Well, no, the measurement was flat to begin with when they started suggesting that they were proving a globe with it. But no, the phraseology is just a bit off, Neil. You can't say the globe's measured flat. I know it is poetic, and correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, I could see you off mute there, One Deck. We have said this when One Deck said it in his poetry. You have poetic license. You can alter subtly the meanings and context and even, not tone or timbre, but phraseology and the way you would write something with poetic license. But your phraseology is just wrong because it's not poetry.
So the globe is measured flat?
No.
Deal with that.
No, it's not. The globe is not. You can't measure a flat globe. It's a contradiction in terms. But in terms of the sentiment behind it, when you say it in poetry, it's perfectly fine. But we aren't poets. One Deck might be in that particular passage. We're not. We're hyper specific in debate. So I can't just let that slide. Sorry, I can let it slide for One Deck, not you. It's different standards.
Hey, I just put it in poetry.
No, you
I
did
said
not.
the globe is measured flat. Deal with that.
Yeah, that's like not even a haiku. You can't have that. Look, anyway, you're absolutely right.
I've got a question.
Go ahead.
Question. What about the definition? Sorry to interrupt you guys. The definition of level, when you look it up, it's saying, according to the geodetic surveying, it's a curved surface. Did you know that?
Yeah, of course. It's a contradiction in terms. You'll find one definition in Merriam-Webster where they say that level runs to the centre of a sphere Earth. Well, no, it doesn't, because it defies the properties of level in geometric terms that you need to utilise in sphericity claims. So if you just take them when they do that straight to their curve calculator, show them the surface level and eye level. It's like, is this level running around a sphere? What about this level? No, so this level that's absolutely 100% required in your maths that uses a flat Earth to infer there's a curve below surface level has a surface level that is absolutely level. It must be. It's the definition of the word until it breaks your paradigm. Then you need to redefine it by going cherry-picking Merriam-Webster's definition that says level moves around the outside edge of a sphere. If it did, how would you define drop from level? There you go, Jin. That's the quickest and easiest route. If you're going to say level curves, how do you define the curve when the curve is a drop from level? You can't have it both ways. They tried for 10 years. Now we've started using their own planes
and the
against
other
them.
one.
I'll just tell you this bit. Well, we've started using their own claims against them because their claims use a flat Earth. We can start holding them to task within their own claims also. When we were trying to rebut Earth curve calculator, you can't hold them to task on it because you're trying to refute it. If you say, well, Earth curve proves we've got a flat surface level, here it is in the maths, absolutely true. But that defies and undermines their claim that, oh, no, level is actually curving. It isn't. What was your next question, Jin?
Yeah, the other one was the statute mile refers to a curved surface as well.
No, it doesn't.
Statute mile.
No, a statute mile and a nautical mile are both straight, flat distances. Nautical miles derive from the angle receding towards the horizon. That's where you derive nautical miles. It's a derivative of the latitude system. Yeah? Well, that's an angle off a flat plane that gives you that. It's not curving in any way, shape, or form. Distance measurements are straight. Doesn't matter what miles, kilometres, nautical, statute, they're all straight and flat, without exception. It's just one of those things they just chuck out there, Jim, like saying sextants only work on a globe. So you put that to us today. Well, sextants, I'm told sextants only work on a globe. No, they only work on a flat Earth. They just throw this crap out there and see if it sticks. Miles is straight.
Yeah, I cannot stand these servers I go on. Allow these people to come in. You know who they are. They're walking on toilet paper, for example. You know what I mean. But anyway, they allow him to come in from Australia, sit in the server and espouse all this nonsense that I've just espoused, for example. And I would ban the guy forever because he's deliberately lying. You know, it's annoying.
I don't know. Don't necessarily confuse cognitive dissonance with lies.
Well, look at Jeremy that one day. He was saying that a Glober told me it can be done. He even showed me circles and stuff. Yeah, they're doing it because they're doing it on a flat Earth. That's why it's working for them. It's not working on their globe. It's working on a flat Earth.
Yeah, we just have to point that out. I mean, it's only been a few months. What is it, 4 or 5 months that we've been pointing this out to our audience? Oh, it'll sink in over time. We do actually have a video to cover today. Let Brian in first. Hello, Brian. No, obviously not. We'll see if we can get Brian's audio later. In the meantime, we do actually have a video that we're going to cover today. So this was, surprise, surprise, actually sent by 10th Man. Why can't I bring it up? There we go. So this is on Mark Sargent's channel. Shout out to Mark Sargent. I'll stick a link straight away to this video so you can check it out. I haven't actually watched this, so you're going to get my cold reaction to it. I will read out the sentiment that was sent alongside it from 10th Man once I've done my call to action. So in the live stream chat, you will see a link to Mark Sargent's video. Please let Mark know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me with a nice polite comment that will not get deleted. Hopefully, if Mark was to do a response in any way, shape or form, he'd put a link to my video. So Mark's the friendly, is on our side if you're unaware. Mark's one of the good guys. Check him out. So there's a link going by. Please let him know I sent you. If you are actually watching live, literally, please can you do this actually now? As in, don't hang around. I'll keep saying the same thing 2 or 3 times so that people actually do it from the live stream. So I see you're all scrolling by. We know who you are. Go and click on Mark's video. Give him some love. Give him a like. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. And let him know. At Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. And I'll explain why we do this. Not just because it's a friendly, but with typically anybody that we cover on Flat Earth Debate. The whole purpose of us shouting them out and sending our meagre audience to them, and it's still true of Mark, he's a lot bigger channel than I am, is so that we, that's me, can receive some algorithmic love by way of people shouting us out, leaving links to our videos where we don't receive any YouTube algorithmic love. So the idea is, like I said earlier, if it was Mark or anybody else that we cover in these videos, that hopefully they'd put a link to our video if they were to do a response on what we have said. Unlikely from Mark in this particular instance, as it's a video that he's covering about some other characters, specifically Eddie Bravo, Dave Weiss, and Alex Jones. So the video is called Eddie Bravo, Dave Weiss, beat up Alex Jones over Flat Earth. Let's read that again. Eddie Bravo and David Weiss beat up Alex Jones over Flat Earth. That's the video title. And the sentiment that came alongside it from 10th Man was, I'll read it verbatim, "What the heck? FED has to deal with clowns from both sides of the argument, full stop." So I don't know what that means. I don't know what this video is going to be about. We're going to react to it cold. It's not very long. We'll see how we get on. Any comments? Anybody watch this before we get into it?
Yeah, it is a clown show. It's hard to make out, so I found it hard to make out. It seemed to me as though Alex Jones was playing both sides of a coin, trying to get as many people to his show, whether you're a glober or you're a flat earther, into the discussion to his show so he can sell you his supplements. And number two, a big credit to Mark Sargent, because I remember years ago, he was on This Morning TV being scattergunned and misrepresented by the oh so honourable Philip Schofield, and he managed to get your name out. And the fact that he's still friendly after all these years later is a testament to his character.
The Marks?
Yes.
Oh, absolutely. Mark deals with crap from all sides. Everybody's moaning at him internally, including me. He manages to keep everybody on side, appease everybody, not get too many people's goat up. I mean, obviously he's got his detractors, but no, I completely agree. Mark's one of the best people in this arena. You know, again, we will often be highly critical of what Mark does and how he does it. It doesn't change our opinion of him personally in terms of how he goes about what he does and how he is as a character and as an individual personally. He's just a good guy. Completely agree. Okay, any other comments?
Yeah, that would be my sentiment. Sorry, cutting there. That would be my sentiment exactly. I've had to defend Mark Sargent's work because they're trying to call him a shill back in 2016, 17, 18, over the years. But I've always said, look at the body of work that he has done right up till now. So let's not be, and then I asked the individual, well, what are you doing for Flat Earth? You're not doing anything, are you? All right, keep your mouth shut then. And if you don't like Mark Sargent, get lost. Simple, really.
Yeah, I completely agree.
But anyway,
don't like Mark,
good
just get lost. Exactly. Anything else? No? Okay, we'll get on with it.
Oh, my baby, my globe, my sweetie cake. Oh, I love the globe. Oh, those flat others are so bad. Eddie Bravo's not around. Wake the fuck up!
This went from creepy to violent immediately. How long we're in? 10 seconds. Wow.
Oh, God! Wake the fuck up! Wait.
Okay, language warning.
Wait, what is this, Alex? Wait, I'm sorry. Oh, my God! Oh, Alex! It is round! Oh, my God! How come you didn't tell me? What did you get this? What?
Okay, so this is a promo. So this is from InfoWars, right? No? Yeah? Anybody give me any context for this background?
I think it is.
Seems like a promo.
I've been lied to. It's round. Oh, my God, I'm so sorry, Alex. I'm so sorry. It's okay. I'm so sorry. The proof's real, see? Oh. Look at that. And that's real.
Did he just really hit him? I mean, definitely made contact, that's for sure.
Two. Now get over and tell.
And he's smiling a bit more than you'd expect. I think he did actually just slap Eddie Bravo around the face.
Tell us how it's flat.
It's flat. No, it's round. I give up. It's round.
No, I agree. It's flat. Fuck it. And Joe Biden won the election. Fuck you. God damn.
There we go. Nice.
Ah!
Okay. No offense to these three, but I'm pretty sure that some college drama students could put something better together. This is garbage.
Hold on a second, Nathan.
Yeah.
This is very telling because a couple of weeks ago, he was saying that he's going out shooting and he's got all his rifles set and ready to go. And yes, they're all corrected for Coriolis. And now this video, I don't know, man. Seems a little fishy to me.
Doesn't say anything. It's just a whole bunch of nothing.
Fuck the thing. Jesus Christ, yeah. Come on, play soccer. Come on. Yeah. We're doing it right now. It is round. Throw it at me. I was wrong. Throw it at me. Yeah.
This is really painful.
I can't see the video. Are they looking at something? How? I mean, he's
All
saying
you're
it is
looking at,
round.
I'll
Is he just
describe
looking?
it to you. All you're looking at is Dave, Alex, and Eddie with a globe that's been knocked off its stand, kicking it around the studio. That's what you're listening to.
Okay.
We're defeating it right now. Look at that son of a bitch. I just pulled out a control panel. Damn it.
Yeah, number one, it doesn't seem natural enough for them to have just caught this on the fly. Like, this just did happen naturally. So this is obviously a skit. But it's been badly put together. The concept's crap.
Down with the earth! Biden is president! Down with Trump! Ah! See, it's real. It's round.
I know, Alex. I know.
You were wrong to hit me. You're sorry.
I fucked up. I didn't know this existed. Oh my God, this proves it. What have I done?
Okay. So is it just dumbed down to keep as many people... Who is it that suggested this was playing both sides of the fence? You one day.
Central Goat.
Central Goat. Go on. What, is this just dumbed down to the point where it's acceptable by everyone? Just a bit funny in their mind.
What have you done? Eddie, wake the fuck up! Stop it! God.
Don't ever question flat Earth again, okay?
I won't.
You know I love you.
It's flat!
There you go.
And Donald Trump's guilty!
I fucking told you.
My president is Joe Biden!
Is this done in irony? I don't know his political views, so I'm assuming that him saying he's guilty means that he's saying it in sarcasm and therefore he doesn't believe so. Am I right?
Yeah. And also, you've got to remember that at the beginning of the Mark Sargent's intro, who is that? Is it Vinnie Jones? Yeah, Vinnie Jones is in it. And he's taking the part where he's smashing a guy in the face from a film that David Jason's in, okay? You're the punk that thinks it's flat. Well, it's round, but it's not. And he punches him in the face, okay? So they're taking the mickey out of Mark Sargent's intro there, I think, as well. Bear that in mind.
Told you. I fucking told you it's flat.
You did, it's flat.
You didn't fucking believe me.
It's flat. Don't visit DrJonesNaturals.com. The flat earth will expose it.
Okay, we're nearly at the end, thank God.
When you visit DrJonesNaturals.com, you'll find amazing brain boost nootropics like Top Brain. It's incredible. But it still uses classical systems to stimulate the neurons in the brain.
You should have had some of that before you came up with this skit.
And to give you energy. Next Level Foundational Energy does not do that. It is the breakdown of folic acid into methylfolate mixed with other natural compounds that are...
What the bloody hell is this? Is this just an ad for the next two or three minutes? Is there no Effie Mickey taking?
Most of us have partially broken genes and cannot absorb folic acid or process it properly. Be very careful when right now and exclusively available at drjonesnaturals.com. That's Dr. Jones.
Ugh. Okay, so it's just a prolonged ad. Let's just see if there's anything else at the end.
And for breaking news and updates, be sure and follow me at Real Alex Jones here on X.
Okay, that was it. Well, that was painful.
And you said 10th Man requested this?
He said, what the heck? FED has to deal with clowns from both sides of the argument. I mean, it is just them clowning, to be fair. That is literally just a clowning session, isn't it? So he's not wrong.
This is a preempt to critical mass. It's getting ready to hit everywhere. So this is what they're going to do. They're going to make light of it now.
Maybe. I don't know. What's the process? Ignored, ridiculed, fought over, and then accepted as always being true? Something like that.
Yep.
That was so
You're
painful.
going to need a flat plane for that globe.
Yeah, I mean, there's only one thing I could critique, and unfortunately it's going to be critiqued of Eddie, but it's part of a skit, so If you're watching Eddie, don't take it personally. In that skit, he says, you didn't believe me. Yeah? Well, that's not our vibe currently in 2024, is it? In fact, quite the opposite. When someone says, oh, what makes you believe the earth is flat? I don't try and convince them in my belief, do I? My rhetoric currently is that's how it's measured. So, although it's, again, I'll disclaim it once more, part of a skit, my tact would be, you never accepted the measurements.
And that's what I'm thinking, Nathan. Now that we have locked this in and we've come to the understanding that Earth is measured flat, I don't think they can hide it anymore. I'm serious. This is getting ready to hit.
Yes and no. It's always been measured that way. Likewise, the same sentiment could be applied and was applied by me for the most part of my flat Earth career, which is to say, the world was always that way. It hasn't suddenly unfolded from being a globe. The revelation that we navigate the world flat, well, most people are familiar with using flat maps, and if they're familiar with navigation processes, they're familiar with how they utilize the world that way anyway. If they're building on the world, they're familiar with how they're building on it anyway. So the way that the general world presents itself to you, in my opinion, requires absolutely no change in terms of how you perceive the world on a day-to-day basis. It's a daydream that you're giving up. You're giving up on a daydream of a sky vacuum that you can perceive the Earth to be a sphere when you're there, when you can't be there. Well, what are you actually giving up?
You're not giving up anything. The Earth is always flat, but we now have discovered it, that this is it. We didn't know it then, but we know it now. And now the world will know it. So it cannot be hidden no more.
I did know it. I just didn't have the best silver bullet to be able to draw close to the argument. It seems weird that in the pre-show we were discussing the fact that in certain servers, people don't like the fact that by pointing out that the globe's claims start with flat Earth measurements, you effectively end the debate. And they can't carry on utilising the measurement that they've started with to suggest that they've got a globe claim provable at the end of it, when the starting point for that claim is a flat Earth measurement. How are they supposed to progress beyond that? Now, to me, that's like, well, there's your silver bullet, so they measure it flat too. What better proof could you possibly have? I just think it'll take a while for it to sink in. For us, for the flat earthers.
Do you think I'm taking it too far if when I ask someone the time and they tell me the time, that I tell them that they're going to need a flat Earth for that?
No, that's not taking it too far. That's absolutely correct. When you're talking about longitude,
when referencing,
and
sundials, maybe.
Yeah, the time zones. Why wouldn't you say that?
Yeah.
What's our time based on? The movements of the sun, the angular representation.
Yeah. I've been using it, but some people are laughing at that. But I've actually been using it, and making that point.
Yeah, same applies to a compass. If you're going to say, is it unreasonable to tell someone that they'll need a flat Earth for that east? No, it's not unreasonable. It's absolutely true.
So next time somebody
And by
asks
the
me
way,
what time it is, I'm going to say you're going to need a flat Earth for that.
Well, you did.
It's great, isn't it?
It's slightly poor phraseology, and it's Wandek's fault. You have derived that system from flat Earth measurements. Yeah? So to say you'll need a flat Earth for that, well, no, once you've got the concept, you don't need anything other than a watch and something to accurately match it to. You know, you can work within the convention then. You don't need a flat Earth for anything once you've got a watch on your wrist. Mine's broken currently. It's really upsetting. Not broken, but going wrong. Anyway, watches aside, you can work within the convention, can't you? So to say you'll need a flat Earth for that, is it a stretch? Depends on the context of the discussion, but it's still true, isn't it?
Yeah, my other
If it's a watch with a
Oh,
If it's a watcher with pointers, you can use it as a compass.
Yeah. Or you can just use the ground as a sundial, and that will have to be a horizontal baseline for that sundial to get the time using the sun.
Yeah, we're talking about technological developments that have come out of the necessity for navigating a flat plane. In this case, the chronometer and the sundial and the sextant and all the other things that have been used throughout the past to better get an understanding of how the world works with time, distance, mapping, navigation, the stars, angles off a flat plane, all of those things. Well, having a better or an accurate way of keeping track of what time it was when you're out and moving with respect to the sun, where it positions itself, you'd need a really good map, you'd need a really good watch. And we have those things now as a result of expanding out the known territory. We don't think about it when we just look down at our wrist, do we? Going to do a couple of quick shout-outs. Brian's Logic says, at Nathan, that meat link gives no sound. Works for Neil. I think it's a problem your end. You had that problem last time, Brian. Shout out to Jardo, who gifted 10 memberships, regardless of Neil's inability to concede that he watches Globebusters regularly. Nevertheless, thank you for the super chats. Really appreciate it. Hopefully Brian will rejoin and try in a different manner. But I don't think it's this end, because Neil certainly joined and has no issue. And you have joined and had an exact same issue and then rejoined some other time on a different system and managed to get it working. So hopefully we'll get Brian. Well, I say we open because we've got 20 minutes left of this live show, and that's it. It was a really short video, and I've got nothing else to cover particularly. Has everyone had a nice weekend? I suppose I could ask about that.
Well, just before you go into that, I was just going to say, when people ask me how do the seasons work on a flat Earth, I always reply, as they've always worked for eons, always on a flat Earth. What's not to not understand? And the other point I'd like to make is the reason they're not liking you, Nathan, is because you are ending the discussion very quickly with, it all derives from a flat Earth. They don't like that. Even some flat Earthers don't like that, by the way.
But that's who I was
the number
referring
one
to.
reason of late.
It was the latter that I was referring to, actually, Jin. The flat earthers don't like it. I'm being told that by others in the panel around you, by the way, so I'm not going to reiterate that because it's not me that said it. I'm just hearing this on the grapevine. Well, no, that's not true. I've been into Earth discussions and they didn't seem to like it for whatever reason. But I think that was a personal thing against us as opposed to a comprehension or lack thereof of the argument, which they then did or didn't like. It's more the fact that you guys are coming up with this, therefore we don't like it.
Nathan, someone said
exactly.
this wasn't the debate video. This was just a side piece. Someone please send Nathan the actual debate video with Dave Weiss along with Eddie Bravo and Alex Jones. So I think there was a debate video. We just got the hit piece thing.
Yeah, if someone can stick that in Skype, I'll cover it. It'd be good to cover it in this show, because that's, there wasn't much to get our teeth into in that little skit.
Yeah, guys, you need to. How does an elevation? Huh?
One more
Tell
time.
me.
We missed the middle of that. One more time.
How does this elevation angle work on a flat plane? It doesn't. It only works on a sphere.
How does this flat Earth measurement, only possible of being measured on a flat Earth, work on a flat Earth? Because I say it only works on a sphere. When it cannot be acquired from or measured with respect to a sphere, it's a flat Earth measurement. That's your question.
Yeah, that's a question that we have faced a lot nowadays. By flat earthers, That's how it works on a sphere. Go on, Darren.
Oh, you're talking about when I spoke to Jaron and he told me about tangent planes?
Yeah, as well. Darren is just another one, Flat earthers they're not grasping this measurement of Earth.
Okay.
Right. You got Jaron, you got Jeremy, and even Witsit.
Is anybody digging out this debate? The Alex Jones discussion, Eddie Bravo, Dave Weiss, and presumably Alex Jones have had a debate or discussion at some point. Is anybody going to link to that? If not...
Nathan, it's already in Skype. I'm trying to tell you.
Sorry, Mush, you're a bit quiet.
Oh, I said it's already in the Skype. Check it out. I just posted it.
Already in the Skype? Okay, I'll go to Master B.
Has to be.
Aha. Okay, right, let's cover this then. Put into my already resized window.
You know that YouTube puts labels on all truth videos, right?
Yeah, they do.
They'll put truth on every flat Earth video. Why would they do that? Why would they put any flat Earth? And then if you punch in, there's a video called The History of Flat Earth by Eric Dubé. If you punch that in on YouTube right now, it won't take you to that. It'll take you.
Yeah, he's absolutely correct. So this is by decree of government. So YouTube were before Congress being asked what are they going to do about the fact that when you type in flat Earth, you get flat Earth stuff. And they went, we'll sort that. Now this is the description of what's occurred as a result. Pretty accurately by Eddie.
You could do 100 videos that they produce to turn you away, turn you off from flat Earth.
Yeah, that's right. So he's describing anti-flat Earth material. It'll appear at the top of the list when you type in flat Earth. You get anti-flat Earth. Absolutely right.
You could punch it in word for word.
This is miles better. Oh, I'm glad we didn't just cover the skit, because that was garbage, and I'm sure they're all probably cringing when they've watched it back. This is much more like it.
History of Flat Earth by Eric Dubé. It won't come up. They'll give you 100 videos of videos.
I tried to. Let me tell you something. I tried to search.
Why would they do that?
I tried to search Trump Russia to see what they were going to say today on Google, and it wouldn't let me search it.
That's what I'm saying. Why would they do that?
Alex,
why would they do that?
If I looked up for like underwater basket weaving a year ago, I could go to my history and find it. If you watch a whole bunch of flat Earth videos, like some of my videos and other good videos, then you go to your history, it's not there, and it's replaced with propaganda.
Is that true? I don't think that's true for me. I mean, that might be true for Dave's experience, but from my experience, my history is very much my history as I scroll through the videos I've watched, flat Earth or otherwise. They're just there in my history. Maybe this is something that's not applicable to UK YouTube, but I certainly haven't experienced that.
Make you a little suspicious?
It's
based on all the shit you went through. You fucking went through all the shit. You should be questioning fucking everything. You should.
Okay, well, let's just get that cleared up. Okay, you started well. Nevertheless, questioning something based on the fact that it's been censored, no. It's based on validity and primary source research. Just because it's been censored, there might be a legitimate reason to censor certain things. You know, there's certain very, very extremist groups that wouldn't be allowed on YouTube, same as pornography, and there's very legitimate reasons for censoring those particular types of material. Because you've got censorship of pornography, and I was to use the same argument Eddie's using, it's like, well, shouldn't you be looking into the sex trade? Because they're censoring it. It's like, this is non sequitur.
You should throw everything
We have a delay. We're on 300 radio stations. You got to only cuss occasionally.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Isn't it weird that no one has circumnavigated south? Isn't it weird that they faked the 24-hour sun in Antarctica? Isn't it weird that there's there's webcams in Antarctica where that you can watch the shadows go around, it's going, and then all of a sudden, it skips 8 hours. Every day it skips 8 hours in their summer.
Isn't it weird? Yeah, I suppose it's an interesting point. But how does it serve our flat Earth interests in 2024? The answer, it doesn't. It's very much from the table of the Feast of Nonsense to discuss an area that very few people are visiting, that's shrouded in mystery and conspiracy. When we've expanded the known territories into the new worlds, many of which who are watching this video right now are living on. And we've mapped them, found them, navigated to and from them, and then surveyed them flat. Measured flat to do that. And there's no ambiguity about those processes in current times because they're still done the same way. Flat. So it's better to take the existing and only in our recent history expanded new worlds, ignore them and move on to Antarctica and start asking questions about why they'd fake things.
When there should be a 24-hour sun. But in the winter...
So there should be a 24-hour sun in Antarctica, you suggest, do you, Dave? And no, I wouldn't suggest that. There shouldn't be. If you're going to assert that there is, you want to show one, but that's their positive claim that you're refuting. Now, this is edited, so it might be the case that maybe Alex Jones put it to him. Well, I've got 24-hour sun in Antarctica. And then Dave follows up with this. But it wouldn't be beyond Dave's scope to just start rattling off the opposing views to anti-flat earthers' positionings from the Feast of Nonsense, which is Antarctica-based. It's part of his shtick.
They give us the full 24 hours. And when we contact them and say, why are you cutting out 8 hours? They go, oh, we don't have enough bandwidth.
I see. So when you approach the liars about why they're lying, they tell you it's a bandwidth issue. Well, then problem solved. Meanwhile, we've navigated Earth flat, and we can demonstrate that with the new worlds on the maps.
So what happened to Magellan then?
He just went around. What about...
What was that? What happened to Angela? Is that what he said?
Magellan.
Magellan. Fernand Magalhães, the circle navigation guy.
Amelia Earhart, she literally went around the world. If you walked around Austin, does that make Austin a sphere?
Damn. Got you. How about the endless documents from NASA and the military when they're not even talking about flat Earth or round Earth, they're talking about
Yeah, they are. They absolutely are. I've got plenty of documents from NASA describing how you measure elevation, specifically, and it's off a flat plane. Or how people negotiate in aircraft with respect to a flat, non-rotating plane. So they do talk about a flat Earth. That's because that's the world that we deal with, and they have to detail it when they're dealing with aviation, because otherwise lives are at risk. How do the NASA deal with it? Flat.
calculating the motion of missiles and high altitude aircraft. When calculating, because it's got the trajectory and the speed, it's got to be perfect. The number one rule, document after document after document. The number one rule, if you want the precise calculations of the motions of missiles and high altitude aircraft, you have to assume we're on a flat, non-rotating Earth.
Yeah, that's spot on. That's from NASA.
Have to assume that the crazy conspiracy theory that we're on some flat Earth is real to get the right numbers.
While other networks lie to you about what's happening now, InfoWars tells you the truth about what's happening next. Visit Info.
God,
can't believe you.
Listen, I love you when you come to town. I love you to death, and I love challenging the system. But Eddie, Trump has been convicted of this fraud. They're trying to have World War III. They're announcing they're going to start.
Here we go with a non sequitur fallacy. Yeah, there's a war over here, and the poor are dying. How could it be flat?
Bombing Russia with U.S. weapons, and all I said this morning is, I said, you're coming in. Can you at least talk a little bit about Trump, the politics, the world?
Got Dave Weiss by his side. He's a known flat earther, and you want to talk about something that's completely non sequitur, do you, Alex? Very telling.
And then we can talk about, the Easter Bunny stuff.
Okay.
I'm being mean. No, Eddie wants to tell you the.
Not really. I mean, if I was there, I'd just launch straight into how Earth is measured. Flat, that is.
Big secret, the world's flat.
Not really a secret. He's just told you NASA document it that way. Completely ignored.
And he's got
Flat Earth Dave.
He's got Flat Earth Dave, folks, one of the biggest flat earthers here with us, Dave Weiss, flatearthdave.com. So fine, just tell the big secret. It's all flat. Is it really?
Here it comes. Let's see. How will Dave do? Any predictions? This is his big moment, right? This is where ball's in your court. What have you got? What's your opener? Any predictions?
I doubt he's going to say it's measured that way.
Yeah, I don't think he'll say that. That's what we would be saying. But he's usually going to go to the sun or something, usually.
Okay,
he's going to start rambling about seasons.
Seasons? My bet is that he goes to something that's heliocentric. Let's see if I'm right.
No, he gets it right. He gets it right. Dave Weiss gets it right. Okay, he'll make one or two gasps, but he gets it right. Watch him. I've watched this one before. Keep watching.
We beat him.
Well, the thing is, when you look for flat Earth, it's like looking for truth. You're not going to find it on Google. You're not going to find anything.
I think challenging the system's good, but just...
So that's your opener. You're not going to find anything about it on Google. That's your opener. How disappointing. What are you saying, Jin?
Just humor me.
Terrible,
Give me your take on Trump.
Let him finish it.
Okay.
Your take on Russia before we go into the worst flat.
I don't really follow a lot of that. I listened to what you said.
You see, you had your chance, and now he wants his non sequitur, Dave. So you're going to seem rude now. Yeah.
It's got to be easy though. It's we talk about flat Earth all day, nothing else.
You haven't even had one word of discussion on it so far. Go on.
What the audience might take from that is what Dave is effectively saying is, here's how I can't prove it, rather than here's the proof.
Yeah, you're not going to find out much information about this conspiracy. Oh, thanks for that. Now let's talk about Trump. Oh, well, you know, I don't really know much about that. Right, let's move over to the other guest then. Bye-bye, Dave.
I think that the entire system's rigged. It's all fake.
I was right, too. He's immediately looking over to Eddie.
And it's a complete and total mess. And
I think when you're being lied to...
Yeah, so his 2 lines that he got in were, you can't find much out about it, and there's a lot of lies and a lot of fakeness. Yeah? It's called an elevator pitch, Dave. Yeah? The moment you have, here's flat Earth, Dave, and he's got a flat Earth to talk about, and what are you going to say about it? Earth's measured flat, Alex. Then just shut your mouth. Just stare at him.
That's a reasonable response.
We are being lied to, for sure. We're being lied to about it.
Yeah, just reiterate it. Second attempt. Now, that's how it's measured. Not a belief in any way, shape, or form. Just reiterate it. Who cares? Being lied to. People can figure that out for themselves. They don't need you pointing out that to them.
Everything. And NASA, you know, is what tells us that the Earth is a globe. You're showing CGI.
Boom! I got it right. I predicted it correctly. Jin, first thing he's done is gone to globe. We're being lied to. Not much information about flat Earth. Oh, by the way, there's this globe thing. Now he's going to try and do globe.
I did say that. You know, he does get it right. He makes a few gaps, but he gets it right, is what I said.
He's getting it wrong. He's getting it wrong. He's had his elevator pitch interrupted, a non sequitur attempt by Alex Jones, and now he's into globe.
Yeah, but he still gets it right.
That's crap. This is crap.
This is not as good as your level. It's not. Yeah, it's not as good as your level, but he still gets it right in my book. Carry on.
This is not getting it right.
Pictures the globalists lie about the globe.
Well,
yeah, we've already heard that. They lie. Not much information. Globe, globe, globe.
I've got a big telescope I've had since high school, and some others, and I can look and I can watch Jupiter turn. Right. I'll drink a 6-pack of beer. I can watch the sun with a green lens. I'm looking at it through a lens. It's not a CGI. It's the sun.
Are you looking at Earth?
Hey, John.
Hello.
Hello. Dealing with a bit of Alex Jones. Fun.
Pull up Jupiter.
Are you looking at Earth? No, but the issue is, as above, so below. Here's the deal.
He's asked, are you looking at Earth? As above, so below. Okay, then. I mean, fair enough. If I'm in a wood, I look up at the trees. That makes me a tree.
The universe is forming. It's explosive. It's heating. Everything goes into a globe, just like metal sprayed into the wind that's molten goes into little spheres. So No,
it doesn't. You don't have a 3-dimensional view of the sky, Alex. Yeah, you haven't got binocular vision. You cannot ascertain sphericity of those items in the sky. It's impossible. What are you talking about? You've got a 2-dimensional view.
Look at is I'm seeing spheres out.
No, you're not. Yeah, you're just dumb. You don't know what these words mean. A sphere is 3-dimensional. You don't get that from the sky. You haven't got binocular vision to it. You just said you were looking through a telescope. Alex is just thick. You don't know what these words mean. Spheres, you say? No, wrong. That's not what you're seeing.
Out there.
Right.
And so are you saying Jupiter and Saturn are not round?
Round would be accurate because that would be a 2-dimensional description of what you get when you look through a telescope. Monocular, single lens, not telescopic, not binocular rather. You're not getting a binocular view. You're not getting a 3-dimensional view. Now you say, I see spheres. Wrong. Asking your opponent, are you saying they're not round? Well, yeah, they are round through your telescope. What does that prove?
I'm saying that they appear to be round.
Who cares? What does that prove? It's a non sequitur fallacy. Ugh. This is annoying.
If you could, anything in the distance will look like a sphere.
Will it? When you look through a telescope? Seems like Dave has probably never looked through a telescope either.
I have a video of a train in the distance, and it looks like the sun. It looks like the moon, but when it...
What? When I look at a train in the distance, it looks like the sun.
So you'd say the sun.
comes to you, you see that it's square.
How are they rotating that? How do I look at them, myself time lapse?
Yeah, you get about 15, maybe top seconds before you're going to get interrupted with the next question. So you're not going to get a full crappy example out, Dave, before Alex is interrupting you asking the next question. Got to keep it short.
And they're orbiting, and they're an orb.
Hey,
orbiting, eh? Here's an advanced heliocentric purveyor of knowledge. We would appreciate that the origins of the orbital claim made by Alex Jones in the last 5 seconds requires a flat plane of reference to measure in order to infer this orbital motion. You'll need a couple of things. You will need angle measurements to all of the stars to form the ephemeris and develop into a celestial sphere with a flat plane to reference them with angles. First thing you'll need. The second thing you'll need is a radial value to infer a spherical Earth to put into the motion described by Kepler as orbits. That measurement of the R value to put into Kepler's motion of orbits is also measured on a flat Earth. It's the minimum elevation angle inferred from Polaris. As you back away from Polaris, it recedes towards the horizon to its inferred minimum. That is the outside edge of a sphere when measuring a flat radial value with Polaris. Ergo, it is required that a flat Earth be measured in order to infer orbits, as Alex Jones has just done. To put it more succinctly, you will need a flat Earth for orbits. There's no way he's going to be cutting that off. You'd have to know what that means, though. Another shout out to Jardo, who's just gifted 3 more memberships. Just bring it up on screen. Thank you very much. Really appreciate the support. 5 more memberships, me not being able to read numbers.
We're looking at the lights in the ceiling does not dictate the shape of the floor. No one has ever...
Does it not? So when we take angle measurements to them, that's measurements, Dave, with respect to a flat surface, I can prove the surface is a flat surface. So for example, let's just go back to the Hangout. This is how you're measuring something that's above you in elevation. It's a lighthouse. But if that was a star, that's something in the sky that I can still measure. Yeah, the general position of a star could be at the same angle as this lighthouse is in the view from this boat. Unfortunately, I've typically not got great timing, and there's not a star example on screen to contrast with what Dave said, but you can get the point. That is to say that you can measure the ground with respect to things in the sky. Yeah, that's how the mapping systems, that's how a world has been expanded. I mean, when we talked about the expansion of the known world previously in this discussion, it's Dave talking about Antarctica. Well, that's very useful. I mean, that was in the clips at the beginning, but nevertheless, he obviously gets onto that at some point during this discussion. Rather than talking about how the world has actually been measured, flat, with the use of the stars. Parallel with them on a flat plane. These are winning arguments, by the way, in case anybody thinks, oh, we're just being harsh on Dave. No, we're hopefully leading you, the audience who does watch this show, to realise how you could do better in the same discussion and prove the point that you're there to prove, which is that Earth is flat.
Ever seen a star anything other than a point of light in the sky?
Who cares? You're there to prove it's flat, Dave, and you're doing an absolutely appalling job. This is just a disgrace as far as I'm concerned, given the amount of time you've been in this subject. It's about your 3rd crack of the whip, and you've not proved Earth's flat yet.
Had access to a major telescope in college for 4 years, looked at all the things. If you look at Jupiter and Saturn, it's a light. It's small. It's close. We don't know.
So proves nothing, absolutely nothing, and you're immediately being interrupted by Alex, and rightly so. You're not proving anything. You can measure angles.
Nathan, can I?
Yes, you may.
The lights in the sky that they're talking about, they have ground positions?
Yes.
Even though we are looking at those lights in the sky, on the maps and on the charts, they will have ground positions in relationship to the surface, longitude and latitude. Yeah, I'm going to need a flat plane for that.
Yes, you'll need a flat plane for that. I mean, we can prove the positions on the ground as above, so below, Alex. Yeah, the positions on the ground, they're called ground positions. We use those to navigate and expand the territories into things like the known new worlds that we inhabit and have colonised. Yeah, we navigated our world flat to them, as above, so below, like the stars having ground positions. Flat.
Do you agree with Sheila Jackson Lee that the moon is a translucent plate?
No, I don't. I don't know what the moon is. I know that it's not what they tell us. But if you look at the moon,
I mean, okay.
First bit of credit is getting. At least he didn't fall for that. No, I don't know what the moon is. Yeah, that's the right answer. You don't.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Just can you give me your take on Trump and nuclear war? Let me
a quick non sequitur.
Hold on.
Nuclear weapons don't exist.
Did we land
Wow.
on the moon? Yes or no? That's a no.
I mean,
That's a no.
I think
That's
we're
a no.
showing some fake stuff.
Come on, man.
Did we land on the moon? I think we were saying shown some fake stuff is the answer. I mean, it was a pretty close question. I mean, Alex wouldn't know either way.
Come on, man. You think we landed on the moon? For real? Be honest. You think we landed on the motherfucker?
So you think Starlink's fake?
He didn't answer. See, Eddie, on the other hand, immediately got him on the ropes. He knows this is a weak spot. He knows this is a sensitive. He's poking that sore spot. Now I can get behind one of the guests. Right, Eddie. Fantastic.
What's that? I can prove it's fake.
So how does my cell phone talk to people in China?
He's avoiding this like the plague. Yeah, good job, Dave. You jump on in this. Excellent. This is getting a bit more like it.
Does work. I'll tell you exactly how it works. Cell towers are all over the earth, and the higher they are, the bigger of a radius they have, and we go from tower.
No, you're offering an alternative. I thought you just said you could debunk the moon landings. Has this been edited out? Did a chunk of what Dave just said get edited out? That seems for too non sequitur for that to be concurrent. Maybe there's a chunk edited out there.
Tower to tower to tower, and that's how the technology works. If we had towers that were a mile tall, they'd have a much bigger radius, right? So when you have a satellite phone that is...
Yeah, that's nothing to do with the moon. I bet they've edited out a chunk there. That was properly loose, wasn't it? Just seemed like it was wrong. Like it wasn't connected to the question. I'm not going to blame Dave for this.
Unless he's bit on his flailing and didn't hold him to the moon and just wandered off down cell phone towers with him. Maybe he did.
Dave's not that stupid. No, I think there's been an edit there.
Is in an area where there's no cell towers. What?
Again?
I used to say that about people too. I've been proven wrong a lot saying that.
Okay, well, either there's been an edit or Dave has just non-sequited his way into La La Land. One or the other. I don't know which.
What's it connecting to? Is it connecting to a little satellite?
Well, let's just do it on his behalf, even if it is an edit or a non-sequitur on Dave Weiss's front. The question on the table is, did the moon landing happen or not? No, it did not. We know unequivocally that the claim that there is a moon landing requires a journey through a sky vacuum. Now, if the sky was a vacuum, the gas we are breathing at high pressure would fill that area of volume and we'd all be dead. We'd have never developed gas pressure in the first place if the sky above our head was 10 to the minus 17 torr vacuum. The sky is not a vacuum. In order to travel to the moon, you'd have to be going into an area that does not exist. That is precisely what they're claiming to do. It violates the second law of thermodynamics. That's entropic law, gas dispersion being the very specific process that is violated. Because gas, according to this claim of an area of volume, the gas below it isn't filling, where you can look back at a blue marble with high-pressure gas not filling availability of space. A total violation of the second law of thermodynamics. You can't travel through a violation of the second law of thermodynamics to get to the moon. Ergo, they didn't. They can't. They haven't. There is no sky vacuum. Therefore, there's no journey through a sky vacuum. It's akin to saying we went through the wardrobe and travelled to the moon through Narnia. We got to it via Narnia. There is no Narnia. There is no sky vacuum. There is no way of traversing wardrobes. There is no way of going past high-pressure gas, waving goodbye to it, and then looking back at it not expanding into a vacuum. That's what they're claiming, though, for that journey to the moon. Now, that actually debunks far more than just the moon landing. That debunks everything to do with space. Because outer space is fake. I just debunked it with the second law of thermodynamics. Go ahead.
They're also going to need a flat Earth for that. To go up to space, to outer space, yeah, up and down is in relationship to a flat plane. Also, for the idea of calculating fuel to go to the moon,
Also, it's based on elevation angles to the moon. All of the rhetoric is based on the flat plane.
It's flying 200 feet, 300, 400 miles above us through space. Where's it getting its power from? How is it staying? How is it?
Just going to pull Jin up because Jin originally said that he did well. Now he's begging the question of sky vacuums in orbit and asking questions about how they operate. You know, all this does is leaves you in the mindset of globe Earth and how it might not work. Might not work. While you're contemplating how it will or will not work. Heliocentrism, that is. This is just such a crap show in 2024. This is poor.
Following the Earth as it's corkscrewing through space.
Why are we contemplating following the Earth corkscrewing through space? Because that's just leaving that visualization in the mind's eye of the audience now, isn't it? Earth as a ball, corkscrewing through space, right? Nod, nod, nod. Why are you doing that? Because that's all Dave Weiss has got these days. Globe Earth and doings.
Is Eddie Bravo listening to this? Or is he in the room while this is going on?
Yes. They're on either side of Alex Jones. Dave's on one side, Eddie's on the other.
Connecting to is airplanes. Airplanes have the power source. They have the equipment. I have Wi-Fi in the airport. I was uploading videos on my flight to Austin, right? It connects to an airplane. It either connects to another airplane or down to a tower, and now you're connected. You use all the understanding.
So you don't believe
satellites are on?
And I can prove that Starlink.
No, they have blimps too. But no, we're not denying that's there. You're saying there's no satellites.
No, I'm not saying that at all.
They're on balloons.
There's stuff in the sky. They're on balloons. But have you seen the Starlink?
Yeah, I don't get it. Why claim that they're doing something or on something when the motion that they're in is being laid on the table with orbital motion, and that's not being debunked? You need to debunk orbital motion. Satellites being on balloons is irrelevant to somebody who believes that they're rotating around a spherical surface in an orbit. For me, I'd point out immediately, you need a flat Earth for orbits. Where are you going to get your R value from for the orbital motion? Well, you need a flat Earth to measure it. There you go. That took 5 seconds.
Before you start, I think you may need to get with Eddie Bravo. It's time. I can't take this nonsense no more.
Well, I mean, yeah, apogee, perigee, that's angles off a flat plane. Eccentricity, that's deviations with respect to horizontal. Everything about orbital motion is with respect to a flat plane, and you want to bring up satellites. It's pathetic.
Yeah, I completely agree. The difference with Eddie is, while he is a personality who has declared that Earth is flat and does talk about it, Dave Weiss is a flat earther on the flat Earth circuit promoting flat Earth as our representative. The standards are very different for these two individuals. I wouldn't expect Eddie Bravo to be my ambassador. I expect Dave Weiss to be a good ambassador for me, and he isn't.
Starlinks go across the sky. I have the trail of them, right? So when you look at a 747 up at cruising altitude, 5 miles, can you see the engine? You can't. It's very small, right?
Meanwhile, height of the plane itself is described from a flat plane. Altitude itself is a flat plane measurement.
It's so annoying.
30 star
reference.
Say again, one deck.
I'm saying it's just so annoying because he's not. I don't think he's mentioned the Earth once.
No.
Starlink satellites inside that engine. So that's how small a Starlink is. If you doubled the height of that airplane to 10 miles, you wouldn't even be able to see the airplane.
No, the reason you're seeing them is they're above the horizon of the Earth with lights on them.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
So a tiny mirror would...
It's throwing these golden nuggets out that you just need to snatch out of the air, right? When he describes the altitude above the horizon, that's a flat Earth measurement that he's just described to you. You know, all roads lead to a flat Earth thing is so useful when your opponent's actually punting what he thinks is a justifiable reason for a belief in a globe. Because of the height above the horizon, says Alex Jones. What, you mean the altitude angle? That's a flat Earth measurement. You just need to keep banging it back at them every time they think they're proving a globe with this.
Look big.
No, it doesn't matter because the angular side...
back.
Yeah. You just need to know your stuff. And when he says height above the horizon, what, the altitude angle? Yeah, NASA also described that with a flat plane measurement. You want to see some NASA documents that describe the altitude angle of aeroplanes? No worries. It's basic stuff that NASA described with flat Earth measurements. You can only do it with flat Earth measurements. You're talking about baselines and angles.
Size is too small. Those Starlink satellites are 350 miles away. You think you could see a school desk at 350 miles
All
away?
right, we will cover this, but you guys, before you came on, I said,
oh, you got him.
Give me, no, you don't have me. I know. I mean, I'm just totally focused on Trump being indicted, convicted, and world.
He's just got this non sequitur up his sleeve. It's the third time he's used it. It's like he's a one-trick pony. He can only cover political issues.
World War III, but let me guess, there's no nuclear weapons, right, Eddie?
Absolutely not.
100%.
No, I've heard this before. I've been around a while.
Well,
yeah. What's this being brought up for? To make you look like idiots. That's why.
So, okay, so there's no nuclear weapons.
There is no win in this. Yeah? There's going to be people on the side of this discussion that believe one way or the other what's been put forward on the table. And it will not in any way prove sphericity or flat plane. So what is it for? It's a non sequitur to make them look stupid. That's it. That's all it's there for. It's a tool.
So
that's meant for fear. It's meant for control. This is all.
So there's
about
no.
control
What real technology is there?
Oh, there's technology. There's big bombs. They stack TNT at ground zero in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. There's.
How does he know that? Let's see what primary.
I was just going to say that. How the hell does he know what was done in Nagasaki and Hiroshima?
What primary source evidence does he have for this? And why are we even discussing it when it's a flat Earth discussion? Who cares? Yeah? The world of conspiracy is not our bag, right? Now, don't get me wrong. I've started to learn that people who come to this subject via the roads of conspiracy don't necessarily just want to be told our Earth is flat. They don't necessarily want that. Suddenly it leaves all the mysticism behind, all the conspiracy behind, all the speculation behind. And they want it, don't they? People want that speculation. They want to be told that there can be a martyr, that they've been wronged, that they've been defrauded, they've been lied to, and they need to get up in arms about it. Well, I don't really perceive that to be the case. You, not me, might perceive the world to be very different after you find this information out. That's fascinating, and it really is irrelevant to the way that the Earth is measured. I mean, it's measured that way for both sides, you appreciate. You and your globe belief, and me with my flat Earth appreciation, both use the same measurements. Sorry, you've been lied. Who cares? Does it matter? So what? Sensitive, are you? So people lie? Oh, no. Yeah, people lie. Yeah, wow. Is this a revelation to you? You need flat Earth to find out that people lie? Yeah, they do. Does it alter the measurements of Earth? No, it's flat. For all who measure, even if they've got a globe belief, and their extrapolation will come from those measurements of a flat Earth. That's all that matters here. Whether or not Hiroshima had TNT versus a nuclear bomb. Who cares? Completely non sequitur.
Video of troops stacking TNT at ground zero.
Wow, the U.S. had invaded Japan and did that. Wow.
War is a theater. That's why they call it the theater of war. They're all working together. There may be some rogue states and some stuff going on, but all of this is combined.
Well, I mean, I get ridiculous.
Yeah.
Challenging and questioning everything.
Sure.
But I mean, so the Trump indictment's fake too?
I don't know. I think they're really going after him. I think if Trump gets in office, that their plans might.
But everything.
I don't know, Alex. I really don't know how this has anything to do with Earth being measured flat. I mean, maybe you can tell me how Earth's flat measurements can link in some form or another to Trump. You tell me. How does this connect to flat Earth measurements? Would be what I'd be putting to him after reiterating the fact that Earth is measured flat several times. So when a non sequitur comes up, the audience is acutely aware when my response is, I don't know how Trump would link to flat Earth.
Everything else is fake. Everything's a theater. How can it be Trump's
fake? No, when I'm leaning on measurements, right, I'm not suggesting anything's fake. That's me. But I won't look like a complete conspiratard in these scenarios, will I?
No.
My answer was, I don't know.
Nothing, Alex. Come on.
Yeah.
I love.
Yeah, no. There's no nuclear weapon.
Oh wow! Did Eddie Bravo just catch an all or nothing fallacy? Man, Eddie Bravo is freaking ace. That is not even because the standards are lower on him. He just caught an all or nothing fallacy.
There's no satellites.
I love how you're playing devil's advocate to make sure that you're not labeled as a flat earther. I'm not being. I don't give a shit how I'm labeled. I'm sitting.
I wouldn't call you a flat earther, Alex. Yeah, you struggle to understand the difference between mono and binocular vision. So you can stay on the other side. I don't mind. I'm good with that.
Here, and I look at globes, orbs in my own telescope.
Talk about perfect timing. Do you now? In your single lens, you're seeing things that are spherical in it, are you, Dumbo? Yeah, this is me calling you a stupid idiot, Alex. Demonstrably so, because you've said it 3 times now. No, you haven't got binocular vision to these spherical items that you infer. You just can't see them that way. Yeah, and with total justification, I'm going to call you stupid. How'd you like those apples? You're just some stupid moronic globe believer. You like all of them. You see what I'm doing now? I'm stereotyping you with the rest of your globe-believing numpties. You're just like everyone else, Alex. A bit thick, with your standard moronic globe rhetoric that leads you to make stupid statements about what you see through a telescope. No, definitely not got a 3-dimensional view through that telescope. Did Daddy tell you it is a 3-dimensional view? Bless. Just stupid, son, just stupid.
Because you look at Earth.
But
I'm on Earth.
But that's still non sequitur. It's still a non sequitur because even if it would still be with respect to a flat plane. So who cares if they're orbs?
Absolutely.
Matter.
It's factually inaccurate, but yes, you're absolutely correct. It's totally non sequitur. It makes no difference either way. But how do we describe the angles with respect to these lights in the sky, John?
From a flat plane, you have to.
It's a flat Earth proof when you put it into practical application rather than debate about what might or might not be based on your conspiratard view.
The fact that it's a debate.
Kind of hard to look at my own ass.
The fact, shouldn't there be hundreds?
Just gotta say, Alex, that was a fantastic rebuttal. I find it hard to look at my own ass. Exceptional.
I'm finding it hard to believe that Jin said Dave did good.
I pulled him
the
up on
statement
it.
That
Go on, John.
The statement that the fact that there is a debate is factually inaccurate. There is no debate about the flat plane. Both sides use it. There is no debate about that.
Correct. There is no debate.
Yeah,
They are mistaken in their understanding that there is a debate because they're having one based on their misapprehensions. Earth's measured flat. There is no debate about it. The globe comes from those measurements. There is no debate about it. What seemed to be the debate was, I'll take flat Earth measurements and claim that I can prove a globe with them, and I'm going to tell you what your model fails on when you use this flat Earth that I say you have. So we've got a flat Earth, I'm saying proves a globe, and a flat Earth I say fails. That's the perceived debate.
Yeah.
Go on, Jin. You can do your defending of Dave if you want to.
No, sorry, I was going to say clearly Dave's doing a bad job here. You know, it's off day. I've got my videos wrong here. He's normally okay. He does have bad days. This is clearly one of them, and I put my foot in Dave's shitty story. Now I'm scraping it off, ladies and gentlemen.
This isn't a bad day. This is standard fare rhetoric for Dave. This is what Dave does. It just, in 2024, isn't very good anymore.
Yeah, he's been better. He's had better days, that's for sure. This is not
in years gone by when the standards were lower. This might have flown in 2019 or whatever, but in 2024, this isn't cutting the mustard anymore.
No, we've razor sharpened up, so yeah, he's definitely performing bad here. He's not even talking about level, flat. He's not even mentioning these words, so it's absolutely terrible.
It's because he does not have confidence in the silver bullet that we possess.
He probably doesn't even know about it.
Yeah, he doesn't know the silver bullet. He doesn't even know it at this point. He hasn't even mentioned it.
Go on, whoever that was. No.
Are you talking about the silver bullet that the Globers bring with them?
Yes, that silver bullet, that's a very good point, John, because they do. But you think that he has not heard this? He sits right next to Whitsitt. Please, let's not be naive here.
What does that mean? He sits right next to Whitsitt. I've tried to sit down with Dave and go through what science is, and he shut me down and then decried me to live audiences. cutting all relationship ties with me. You think he's sitting listening? I don't think so. That might be an interesting way. We'll carry on with this video shortly, right? But that is something that someone else has just reminded me of. Several people who've got in touch about the final experiment, in quotes, which is on the Final Experiment channel. Yeah? Now, this guy is using affirming the consequent fallacy to assert that if he observes 24-hour sun in Antarctica, accompanied by a few flat earthers, then Earth is rotating and spherical. That's his affirming the consequent formal logical fallacy that's being used with a trip to Antarctica to validate this affirming the consequent fallacy. Now, we have pointed this out the moment we heard the claim. Now, that's not the biggest problem. The biggest problem is being called an experiment. So, at face value, the guy who runs that channel left a comment on one of my videos, and along with a whole load of globe shills behind him, when he didn't answer my questions, I've been left in the blank about how you are going to validate this experiment, and I've asked him specifically to give me independent variable, dependent variable, and controls for his hypothesis if it's going to be a validatable experiment, as he's claiming it to be. Now, given the fact that, as I say, I've tried to explain this to Jaron and Dave, both of them have shut me down and said no, they're now, what, toddling along to Antarctica for an experiment? Now, this is of concern to my viewership, who are appealing to me going, are you aware that Jaron's going to be apparently going down to Antarctica to do a quasi-experiment? Now, in the past we've said, I mean recent past, all right, this sounds like history repeating itself. Something comes along that's stupid. A lot of high-profile, in quotes, flat earthers are suddenly on board with it and then being humiliated. Yeah, we've seen it before. Well, now we're in a position where don't even need 20/20 hindsight. We're telling you, this experiment is an affirming the consequent fallacy and has no valid hypothesis. That's it. That's the end of that discussion.
Well, there is one more question I would like to ask
John, then George,
in relation to that.
Carry on, John.
Oh, yeah. How does the elevation of angle to the sun never dipping below the horizon prove it's a sphere?
It doesn't.
Oh, dear.
It doesn't. It proves there's a measurement of a flat Earth taking place. We've also pointed this out. Now, I've done this between you and I, actually, John. It was us, you and I specifically, that did this on one of the shows about a week ago. And I've trimmed it out and called the video The Final Measurement, or Antarctica, The Final Measurement, or something like that. And it's basically us going through it step by step. It's very simple. This is affirming the consequent fallacy. There is no validatable hypothesis. That's it. There's nothing else to it. Now, had people like Dave Weiss and Jaron actually paid attention when I tried to educate them in what science was, rather than decry me as a scammer for trying to educate them in what science was, they wouldn't be falling victim to the exact same shite yet again. Yeah? Last time it was them doing the experiment, wasn't it? What do you know? Bob, now deceased, was affirming the consequent with gyros. Yeah, I stepped in to try and explain this to him after the fact. Admittedly, you could turn around to me and say, well, it's all well and good you doing that with hindsight. Where were you before they went out with Netflix? Well, I wasn't, was I? So yes, it is with hindsight. Well, not anymore. We're telling you, there's no uncertain terms. This is a fallacy. The reasoning and logic behind it is not going to be scientifically empirical. It's flawed. It's fallacious. It's an affirming the consequent formal logical fallacy. So we've told you. Now spread the word. If anybody else wants to ask about this Antarctica crap again, we've told you. It's not a validatable experiment. It's an affirming the consequent fallacy. End of story.
Hold on. Hold on. Don't think they've fallen victim. You think they've fallen victim, Nathan? Really? I'm surprised.
Whatever. I don't care how it gets spun. You can only take things at face value, regardless of the justification, if they get caught short at the end of it. Which they will if they don't appreciate what the magic trick is when they step on stage.
Right. And on as far as the other magic trick, the other time that they shot themselves in the foot, How does a gyroscope keeping a fixed plane of reference in any way prove Earth is a sphere?
It doesn't. You need a horizontal plane of reference in the first instance to do anything with gyroscopic motion.
Nathan, so if I've got this right, their dependent variable will be a 24-hour sun in Antarctica, and their independent variable will be the rotation of the Earth. So in which case, it might actually be worth going.
No, I haven't got that from them. We can. I'm sorry to cut you off. No, I haven't got that. I asked the guy specifically. He left a comment in my section, comment section on a video. That video, the one I'm talking about. You can go and check this for yourself. There he is. I don't know if I pinned the comment, but I might do after this show, so people can check. The final measurement video of mine has him in the comment section being asked by me, what is the independent variable, dependent variable, and controls? And what is your response to us pointing out how this is an affirming the consequent fallacy? He hasn't responded. So I can't say, yes, his dependent variable is a rotating whatever. I can't give you that because he hasn't affirmed it to me when he's very specifically come to my comment section, proactively responded to a video that I've put out there, pointing out and affirming the consequent fallacy and lack of science. Has he counteracted that with a response or told me what the independent and dependent variables are? No, of course not. It's an affirming the consequent fallacy. You can't do that. That's the point.
What's the observed phenomenon?
How do you vary and manipulate the Earth?
You don't.
The best you could come up with is a rotating plane of reference, and that's still not helping you if you're on a globe.
Well, what's the observed phenomena in nature? Looking at the sun?
But from what I can ascertain, they're toddling down there to see if there is a phenomena to observe. What they will actually achieve, if they go down there, is, are we observing a phenomena? That's it. They might adhere to step one. That's the only outcome achievable.
They will also register, elevation angles to the sun, and the sun's above the horizon, meaning they will be proving a flat plane.
Yeah, they'll document how high in elevation the sun is with respect to the horizon over a 24-hour period. Now, if you want to label that moving light in the sky as a phenomena, then I would agree. I go, well, that's fantastic. So you've got step one of the scientific method then. You've observed a natural phenomena. Now, at this point, they're saying we don't know if that phenomena occurs or not, and it's in contention with flat earthers if it does or does not occur in the southern quote-unquote hemisphere. Okay? So what you're going to do is confirm whether or not we've got a phenomena. That's it. Oh, but if you put it into an if Earth is a sphere statement as an affirming the consequent fallacy, then it proves a sphere. No, that's an affirming the consequent fallacy.
And it's also denying what you need for the measurement to take place. So the best you can come up with is if the plane of reference is in rotation, you'll have a 24-hour sun, but that's still a plane of reference. It's not a globe. Yeah. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, the measurements and documentation of what you're observing to visually occur will be documented, observed above a flat plane, because that's how altitudes are described. So if you're describing the altitude of the sun with respect to the horizon, you're describing its angle above a flat plane and how it varies and doesn't recede to the horizon. What, 0 on a flat plane? It doesn't go below the 0 point with respect to a flat surface. Oh, how fascinating. So your measurements prove a flat Earth then. Again, that was put to the guy who's doing this quasi-experiment. It's not, it's complete pseudoscience. Best he can achieve is an observed phenomena that's in contention currently. That's it. Meanwhile, we mapped the new worlds. I also put this to him. What about the fact that we mapped in recent history new worlds that people now live on after we've colonized them? And how we negotiated our way to them with angles to the stars and flat maps and flat baselines. That's how that was done. That's what we put to you when you're babbling on about going to Antarctica to observe a phenomenon that's in contention. Not that you're going to validate the cause of it. No, you're not going to do that. You're just going to affirm the consequent with a few flat earthers you've taken down with them that are stupid. Yeah, that's what you'll achieve.
Right, it's an affirming the consequence, and at the end of the process, the best you can exclaim is that it's a rotating plane of reference. That's the best you're going to come up with in your non sequitur. It's sad.
Yeah, so that's a bit of an aside. There's actually quite a few people watching live, which is always nice. Let's just have a look. 121 people watching. Woo-hoo-hoo! Please share the show. I'll do another call to action. This video itself is not actually... someone's robbed this from InfoWars. If one of the mods want to put a link to InfoWars, then fine, feel free. But I'm not going to put a link to somebody who's just robbed it from InfoWars. Sorry, Ghost, Cody, Texas, you're not getting a link from me. Sorry, this isn't your stuff.
Of motherfucking thousands of photos of Earth from space.
Yeah. No, but for me, it's like the Jew obsession. All the Jew bastards do is say, Jew, 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 Jew.
I didn't say none about no.
Oh, this is going to get me completely demonetized. I'm going to round out this live show before Alex Jones, who, to be fair, has his own platform and can do what he likes. He's definitely not going to care about me adhering to YouTube regulations. So before he starts massively Jew bashing, I'm going to probably round out this live show because it's going to get me in trouble if I don't. So with that, I'm going to say, if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley premiering stream, my camera's been kicked by my feet in frustration. There, much better. Then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow.
They know Earth is measured flat, but this ends the argument. This ends everything. They don't want it to end.
You're saying the flat earthers don't want the argument to end?
Some flat earthers, like that camp over there, they don't want it to end. There's money attached to it.
Yeah, it would seem so. It would seem like the revenue is controlling them there somehow, because they don't seem to want it to end. Is correct. I would agree.
Adam.
Well, the Feast of Nonsense is built. Hey, Adam. But the Feast of Nonsense is built on the idea that there is an argument to be had, right?
Yep.
The argument that if I take a flat Earth measurement and suggest that it proves a sphere, I can tell you how your crappy flat Earth straw man doesn't work against it.
Right, and then I can take that same crappy flat Earth straw man and say, look how it does work, though. Yeah, there's a Feast of Nonsense. Both sides are, I wouldn't say benefiting, but one side, the purveyors of that information would benefit.
Right. Maybe. I mean, we could speculate all day about the people who prop up the Feast of Nonsense being algorithmically favoured, but it would be pure speculation. And in my humble opinion, it would be perceived as just bitterness on our part, or my part. And it's like, number one, I'm not. Number two, I just want the people who are ahead of me in terms of popularity to be good ambassadors for us. And they're not.
Yeah.
Well, you tried.
Well, like with this final experiment thing they're calling it. You know, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice. Who's the fault then?
Well, ultimately, we got a good quote from Alex Jones, you know, the angle above the horizon.
Oh, were you talking to me? I'm just making a thumbnail, so I'm slightly distracted.
Didn't say that? I didn't hear that.
Yeah, he described, when he was talking about his looking through the telescope and the angle of the light above the horizon. Yeah. He's describing a flat plane.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Him and his daddy proved the flat earth, didn't they?
Oh yeah, it was being the baller in that moment in time, you know. He was describing the angle above the horizon. He didn't
I'm
got the
so
memo.
sick of them. I'm so sick of that nonsense. I'm sick of Shice, Jiren, Wixit, tired of all of them.
Yeah, spheres don't have horizontals, though. That's the problem.
Yes, that would be one of the defining aspects of a sphere is there is no horizontal, aka flat planes on them.
At all. An impossibility. That's the funny thing about a sphere, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not a flat plane.
The thing is, as well, when it comes down to it, it's so simple. I mean, you're wanting to measure the shape of something, so you wanting to know the shape of something. What's the best thing to do? It's to measure it, and that's what we do with the Earth. And that's as simple as it gets. We actually use it and measure it using flat Earth elevation angle measurements. That's what's done, and it's so simple. So when you listen to Dave Weiss talking about bloody lights in the sky and satellites and all this, it becomes frustrating because we're constantly just saying how it's measured flat. We want to know what the Earth is, what is it, and how let's measure it then.
Somebody has to get to them and bring them this information. If you're saying that they didn't hear it or they don't listen, somebody's got to get to them then.
Yeah, I tend to end up arguing with flat earthers as well on certain channels when you stick to your guns to measure the ground under your feet and that, right? Guess what they say? Yeah, but you keep repeating yourself. Well, of course I'm going to repeat myself because no one's addressing that point. That if you want to know if the surface is curving or not, 8 inches per mile squared, start measuring. What's going on? Look into the stars all the time. What's going on here?
Well, I wouldn't,
and they say, yeah, but you're repeating the same thing. In the same thing.
I wouldn't. Yeah, but you wouldn't have to repeat yourself if they'd listened the first time you said it and stop using a flat plane. I wouldn't be repeating it if you would stop using it.
Yeah, spheres that don't have locally flat. It doesn't exist on spheres.
Yeah, there are no flat planes on a
The
sphere.
same thing. Exactly. 8 inches per mile square, remember? Of deviation from straight. The dingleberry.
Yeah, but that dingleberry is 8 inches of 8 inches per mile squared of deviation from level to level. It's dumb.
Let me ask you a question. David White starts punting what we're talking about here. The absolute fact that Earth is measured flat. Does that affect his, how do I say this, that app he has? Will that affect him financially in any way?
I don't know. What kind of question is that?
I don't think so. I don't think it would. If he would change just a little bit of his language, we would be okay with his app.
That's not what you should be bothered about, Neil. That's not what you should be bothered about. What you should be bothered about is what happened to you on that live show. That's what you should be bothered about.
On what show?
On the live show.
What happened to me?
You were given a telling off for using the term the globe is measured flat. And how ridiculous that is as a statement.
It is.
And the fellow who told you off has been punting # measured flat for months.
Yeah, we measure Earth flat. We don't measure the globe flat. That's absurd. Now,
Only I can say that. We don't measure Earth flat. Flat's a description.
Yeah, we do. Earth is flat, and that's how we measure it.
You can't point the finger at Neil. You can't point the finger at Neil.
I can immediately paraphrase it to your acceptance. Earth is flat, and that is how we measure it. Can't take umbrage with that.
Earth is flat, and we measure horizontal.
An oxymoron.
Yeah,
No,
you can't
horizontal and flat are synonyms. Sorry.
Yeah, but flat itself is a description.
Synonyms.
You're not going to. Everyone else is trying to oppose Brian. Right? Stop. Everyone stop. Everyone stop.
Doesn't matter. It's
Everyone stop. Stop. Hello? Can you not hear me? There's 4 people talking. Brian will get to say his piece because he is correct. Right? Just let's get this straight. My description being attached to the measurement is strictly wrong. However, Earth is flat, and that is how we measure it. In terms of phraseology, that is strictly accurate. It's just not as catchy, and I don't care.
Is horizontal or straight a description?
No, we can measure those. Flat is the problem.
Right. So what I'm saying is flat and horizontal and straight, and they're all synonyms.
Yes, they are.
So to say that it's a description is just a category error.
No, Brian's correct. You expand on this, Brian.
May not be horizontal.
Hold on, I'm trying to take control. Yes, Brian is still, strictly speaking, accurate. And me not wanting to rephrase a catchy hashtag into Earth is flat and that is how it is measured. That's not catchy. Earth is measured flat, much better. Strictly inaccurate because you can't measure a description. Brian is correct and he won't ever be wrong. There's no ambiguity here.
That's wrong. That's false. You can measure a description. Bumpy is a description. Can you measure how bumpy something is?
No, you can measure.
You don't call what you measure. You don't call it bumpy.
Correct.
You'd be talking about elevation.
It's still bumpy. Can you measure how bumpy something is? Don't answer another question. Can you measure how bumpy something is?
Yes, you can.
Bumpy's a description. Can you measure how bumpy
English,
something is?
let me just answer you. In English, there is nothing wrong with what I've said, and the Globers say it. Right? When the Globers say, we measure it flat, but that's just because it's really big. They don't have an issue with it because it's just terms of linguistics. It's acceptable. But when we aren't just dealing in linguistics, we are hyper-specific. So for me to decry Brian in this instance is wrong. In terms of hyper-specificity, Brian's right.
Really?
Yeah,
you can measure how bumpy something is.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, you can describe what you measure as being bumpy. That's great. But that's not the point I'm making here.
It is not wrong. It is only when you take the meaning. When you take the meaning to a very, very hyper pedantic meaning, is it wrong?
Once you get hyper pedantic,
we don't term what we're measuring. We don't term it as we're going out to measure how bumpy something is. That's not what we do. If you're measuring something, you're talking about elevations in relation to some other. You're talking about elevation changes. You're not going out to measure how bumpy a state of somewhere is.
Yeah, you would. You would say that.
Don't.
Yeah, you would. Hold on. Stop. Both of you stop. Stop. Please. You would say that, but there is no unit of measure of bumpiness. There is no bumpiness scale. Brian's right. You still have to use descriptions of things like elevation to describe how bumpy something is when you measure it. But in terms of just, I'm going to measure the bumpiness. If someone had an objection, we're like, what's your scale of bumpiness? Well, no, I'm going to use elevations above a flat plane to describe how each and every one of these undulations varies with respect to one another. That is the accurate description of how, quote-unquote, bumpy it is, and I'm bleeding measuring it. So when I say I'm measuring how bumpy it is, that's perfectly acceptable. It is. But when you're down to the hyperspecificity of the measurement itself, to say, I'm going to measure, unless you're saying its flatness, even then that would strictly fall. Hang on a second, Brian. If I say I'm measuring for flatness, then strictly under your disagreement, you wouldn't be able to say that either, would you?
Well, if you're measuring for how flat something is, then you're referring to is how smooth the surface is.
Yeah.
See, and flat refers to a surface.
Yeah.
It's a description of a surface. That's what flat is. Whereas horizontal is not. Horizontal can be just a line between 2 points. It can be two-dimensional. You know what I mean? If you want to talk about a horizontal, whereas you can describe a surface as having a horizontal orientation once you've shown it to have, but you can describe it as being flat even if it doesn't have a horizontal orientation.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
It's an ambiguity in English versus maths. That's all it is.
Yeah, but it's not just a horizontal; it's a horizontal plane. Come on.
Yeah, but my point was that you attacked Neil for saying the globe is measured flat.
Yeah, because that's absurd.
Which is it?
Yeah.
Well, you're saying hashtag measured flat, which is just
not in my world.
It's kind of you know what I mean?
I already explored that. Nobody will ever acknowledge when I say it. You just keep on moving on, like saying it's an adjective matters. It does not. I'm tired of it. No, it doesn't matter. If you're going to take it to a hyper-pedantic place where you ignore every single other meaning of the word, then fine. You can debunk a hyper-pedantic meaning that you meant when you said flat, but that doesn't change that to say the Earth is measured flat is okay. There's nothing wrong with it.
I agree.
No, with caveats, I would agree. It's okay with caveats. But without the caveats, it sounds bizarre. And my point being is that Neil got on ear bashing. My point being was that Neil got on ear bashing for saying something that sounds a bit bizarre from someone who uses a bizarre statement regular.
No,
but it's taught in the Western world where you, I'm supposing, did your educational background. This is taught that it's measured flat. Surveyors will tell you it's just flat. Why is it weird to state that? I don't get it.
Because when you talk about, if you're talking about units of measurement and measuring something, you're measuring it for a length, let's just say, or a breadth or whatever, and you're then determining
Wrong.
Well, so you're not measuring length and breadth. I don't know then, John. Forget it. So look.
No. What is temperature, length, and breadth? That's a unit of measure.
We were specifically talking about surfaces, John. Solid surfaces. We weren't talking about measurements of
we
other
weren't talking about length and breadth. We weren't talking about length and breadth. We were talking about surfaces, not length and breadth.
How do you measure? What are you measuring when you're measuring a surface, John? Length, breadth, and depth.
We're talking about angles with relation to a surface, right?
So you're not measuring length, breadth, and depth then?
No, not necessarily. Are you measuring the length, breadth, and depth of the star?
If you're not measuring one of those, you're not measuring the surface.
Well, if you measure 0, you are measuring the surface. So
the distance between the observer and the GP of the celestial body, is that a length measurement? Is that a measurement of length?
No, it would not be. There would be an elevation angle of 0, which would be a measurement of the surface being 0.
Yeah, but I'll ask you again. Is the distance between an observer and the GP position of a celestial body, is that a measurement of length?
No, it's a calculation. You calculate that. You don't measure that.
You're not measuring it then?
No, you're not.
So
you are. Yes, you are. Stop. Yes, you are. You measure. Stop. Yes, you are. You're measuring an angle. Stop.
Because John is trying to win some stupid argument.
Can I just get 2 words in?
No.
Stop. Yeah, you are making a measurement. You already described it. You're measuring an angle with respect to the surface. That's still a measurement. It's still with respect to the surface. It's not that you're not making a measurement. You're just measuring length and breadth. That's a calculation. The measurement still had to be taken to make that calculation, though, and that's a measurement of angle.
Yes. Right. Yeah. So the angle measurement is done. The calculation to get your distance to the GP is not the measurement.
So you're not measuring a distance between you and the GP position. That's not measured.
That's calculated.
So you get the acute angle from the right angle. That was a measurement.
The angle's the measurement. Yes, George. Yes, the angle is the measurement. Yes.
And the co-altitude angle gives you. Yeah, that is a measurement. You're literally measuring Earth there. You're not calculating.
No, literally minus from 90. That's a calculation.
Multiply by however many nautical miles. That's a calculation. You're doing calculations.
Nautical miles are calculations. Nautical miles are calculations. They're not based off of. There's a second thing I wanted to pull Nathan on. not
that's
derived from
false.
statute of
You
miles.
are going into
They're not
non
derived from
sequitur.
statute of
If the
miles, then.
calculation based on a
So they're not
measurement
derived
is
from
as
statute of
valid
miles,
as any
inches and feet.
measurement you'll take, you're
You
just going off in the
ruined your own
because you
argument.
don't understand the
Just ruined your own
mathematics you're
argument.
punning.
You ruined your own argument. I don't know what to say to you.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. Just saying I ruined my own argument, ain't. You don't even know what my argument is. Because you're arguing something else. You're trying to argue
miles.
calculation of measurement because you don't understand it.
Nautical miles. We're not measuring a distance in nautical miles. Okay.
No, you're measuring an elevation angle off a flat plane. And then you're calculating a distance in nautical miles. That's validatable. And it has been. They call it celestial navigation. But how's that ruining my argument again?
Nautical miles aren't a calculation.
Yes, they are.
No, they're not. They're derived from statute miles, which are measurements.
Derived, calculated, derived, calculated. Same words.
1.1508. 1.1508 statute miles is one nautical.
It's interesting calculation you got there.
Really?
Yeah, that's the calculation.
69.04 statute miles will equal 1 degree of change, angular change to the sky.
That equals calculation, calculation, calculation. You don't understand it.
So which part is the measurement then? Because I'm using 90 degrees with the sextant as well. That's just a calculation then under those circumstances. So statute miles are also just calculations. They're also just calculations because I can describe everything I do in statute miles.
That's all or nothing fallacy.
It's not an all or nothing fallacy.
You went to all or nothing fallacy.
I didn't go to all or nothing. I didn't go to all or nothing. Just use your standard against you.
Everything is a calculation.
Just use your standard against you. Just use your standard against you. I don't even know what your point is at this point.
His point is that there's only one measurement. Let me just reiterate it. You're asking. His point is there's only one measurement.
What's the measurement?
The measurement's the angle.
What's the measurement?
I'm telling you.
Angle of what? Angle of what?
Angle with respect to the surface.
Angle of what? What's the angle? Describe
elevation.
Between what?
Between the surface and the light in the sky.
Between the horizon and the light in the sky.
Yeah,
that's not your.
No,
that's not your.
No.
So that won't give. That won't give you. That won't give you. That won't give you.
You're wrong. You're straw man. Not the horizon.
No. This is no.
You can do it with a stick in its chest.
That won't give you 90 degrees.
It has nothing to do with the horizon.
That won't give you 90
wrong.
degrees.
You don't understand this, and you're just you don't
that
understand.
That won't give you 90 degrees. That won't give you 90 degrees.
Nothing to do with the horizon. The surface and your vertical give you your 90.
You're not. You're not addressing me at all.
Go one at a time. This is a good stop. Both of you stop. Hello, Brian. Just go one at a time. Just let the other get to the end, because otherwise it's just almost unlistenable. It's such a good discussion.
Oh, hang on, Nathan. Am I expected to listen to John chant straight through what I'm saying?
No, I'll stop him too.
And completely not answer what I'm asking.
No, I'll stop him too.
And right? No, well, maybe you want to start doing that.
I will.
Anyway, my point is derailed because it was so important to stopping John talking through me.
Go with it then. Quit bouncing around on ceremony like anybody cares.
So what are you measuring? You're measuring an angle. How are you measuring an angle between the horizon, right, surface, and celestial body? And will that give you 90 at the observer's position and 90 at the... Will that give you 90
You're not measuring
at the
Brian,
GP?
you've got to stop. Brian, you've got to let him answer.
No, false.
Brian, let him answer.
That was Slim saying false. Is that an answer to what I asked?
False. That's false. That is not an elevation angle. The angle between your eye and the horizon and the object in the sky is not an elevation angle. It is only after you do a calculation can you turn that into an elevation angle. An elevation angle can be taken with a stick in the ground and a flat surface.
Yeah.
The horizon is not. The horizon is not part of the measurement, but it is something you can.
You're referencing the horizon. I referenced
Oh my
it now.
God!
What
No, you're not.
What is it you're seeing? Why is it you're sticking on this horizon?
Why are you
You're not answering
interrupting me?
you're not asking any of my answering any of
Why'd
my
you
questions.
interrupt me?
You're not answering any of my questions.
Brian, you're
You're
rumpusing him again. Brian,
when I'm trying to answer him?
You're latching onto the word horizon.
Brian, you're cutting off the end of his statement.
Nathan.
Cutting off the end of his statement.
What statement? He's not making any statement. He's talking about he's not answering anything I'm asking him. This is getting ridiculous.
Yeah, I did. I specifically answered that the elevation angle measurement is not between your eye and the horizon and the object in the sky. You have to do a correction to make it an elevation angle. If you're going to use
the
that
measurement
thing,
then, John?
Yeah, so just ask me in the middle of me getting ready to tell you. You just need a level horizontal plane and an object to get an angle, an elevation angle. You don't have that if you're drawing an angle from your eye to the horizon and from your eye to an object in the sky, because the horizon's below your eye level.
That's brilliant. So what is the measurement then, John? What is your measurement? What is your measurement?
I just told you, and I addressed
your measurement. Because you're telling me about an answer corrected calculation.
Respond to what I said.
It's the third
Respond
time.
to what I said. Don't keep saying that.
He's not answering what I'm asking him. Like he's literally trying to hijack what I'm bringing up and make it his point. He thinks I'm totally stupid.
I addressed your point. It's not hijacking.
Measurement.
I addressed it as a non sequitur. It was a red herring.
Listen, John, you're claiming something is you're claiming that the elevation angle is a measurement, right? Are you not?
Yes, obviously, I stated that. But when you brought in the horizon, that is not
you're claiming the elevation angle is a measurement, right? And that the distance between the observer and the GP point is not a measure.
Just let him make the end of that
statement.
statement.
I can't get any... Listen, Nathan, I can't get any clarity here as long as you keep on saving your special boy.
No, you keep interrupting the end of his statements.
You're the one that whined. You're the one that whined to Nathan about, oh, you got to stop him from speaking. Whenever I red herring his point,
right? Both of you stop. Both of you stop. Both of you stop. Both of you, please stop. Please. Right, Brian, you are cutting off the end of his statements, right? So he's trying to redress what you put to him about the horizon with respect to being a measurement, and he's saying no, it isn't. You can correct it.
I'm asking him what the measurement is, and he's not.
No, you're interrupting me. You're saying you can correct it into being an elevation angle, but an elevation angle is specifically with respect to the horizontal plane of reference you're standing on. If you're not, that's your example with the horizon, then it's not an elevation angle measurement yet, because you've got to do a correction.
Yeah, a calculation.
Yes.
So the very thing, this was my point. So you've got to use a calculation to do what you're claiming to be a measurement. Now, I have no hassle with the whole thing being a measurement, but if people want to say that the distance between the observer and the GP point is not being measured, then that means the GP point means nothing, number one. Number two, it means if I want to get pedantic about it, it means that none of it is being measured outside of the height of eye with a tape measure. That's the only part of it that's measured. The rest is only a made-up calculation. That's literally, I literally can say that based off of the standard that's been given to me.
Okay.
Well, no, you can't, because you don't know what a measurement is, because you just said that a tape measure is the only measurement that's being taken place. You don't know what a measurement is. The elevation.
That's not what I said. What I said has
Brian, you're cutting him off.
That's what you said.
Brian, I just want to hear the end of the statement. He listened to everything you said. He didn't cut you off.
Why should I listen? Why should I not state when I am being strawmanned? Why should I wait?
Why should I not jump all over when someone's repeating what I just said? What? You call what you just said a straw man? When I make a measurement of port, it's a straw man now. That's what you said.
I said a more context to it, it made sense. What you said, what you brought up was a straw man. You tried to use what I said and turn it into a straw man.
What did you say, Brian?
Well, I
can I
mean, a
add
straw man
something here?
is also when you take someone's position and weaken it or leave out elements of it. So to be
What did I leave out? What did I leave out?
Just let him repeat it.
You left out basically everything leading up to me saying what I said concerning the measurement with the tape measure. All of it.
Okay.
No.
What is all of it in relation
let's
to
get
the
this back
tape
on track.
measure?
No, rather than trying to summarise the straw man that hasn't taken place as far as I can tell, right? The point that we're at in the argument between Brian and John is there's an assertion that there's a measurement being taken place from Brian, and the only measurement that's being taken. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on?
Oh, sorry, I'm off mute. Sorry.
There's an assertion that there's a measurement being taken. The only measurement that Brian says that can be asserted as a measurement is dropping the tape measure at port. Response from John: no, there's an elevation angle measurement being taken. Brian's response: no.
That's not what I said.
No, that's what John said.
That's not what I said. That's not what I said. You said Brian
John
said this.
said.
That's not
what John said. Okay. So John says, no, there's not just the tape measure at port, there's also the elevation angle. Your response is no, because that involves a calculation.
Brian didn't say there was only just the tape measure at port. That's not what Brian said. Again.
That's why I asked you to repeat it.
There's no point, Neil, because John is going to strawman me, and then Nathan is going to go along with the strawman. What's the point?
That's what I heard you say.
No, that's what
you said. Your exact words were. You said, as far as I am concerned, then there's only one measurement when you measure with a tape measure your height at port. That's what you said.
No.
No. Wait, Brian. No. He said if you're going to apply some standard. Now I missed the details of that part, but he did say more. He said if this is the standard, then the only thing I can call a measurement is the tape measure.
Yes.
At port.
And Brian, and then John responded, so you don't know what measurements are, because there's another one, the elevation angle measurement. That's a measurement.
Yeah, but no, the elevation angle measurement. But no, if I use the standard that's been put towards me here, then the elevation angle measurement that you're calling is not a measurement. The only actual measurement happened at port.
Okay, why not?
That was my point.
Okay, fine. Why not?
That was my point.
Okay, fine. We're going to pass back to John after you respond.
Because
why not?
You're not because after that, all you're doing is using a measurement from when that you made at port to correct the calculation you make at sea.
What if you do it in a rubber ducky like? What if you do it in
no?
Hello. What if you do it in Hold on. I'm going to pass back to John. Hold on. Hello. Hello. Not 1 second. We heard. Right.
You didn't hear. You didn't hear.
It did. You said you got to correct from the port measurement. Let's just pass back to John. There's going to be audio.
And I might hear that as well. I'm sorry for making it worse, but it sounds like that's what I'm hearing, John. Like a lot.
Right. So you take an angle measurement. It is an angle measurement you take from your eye to the horizon, your eye to the celestial body. You use a calculation to establish the horizontal plane of eye level. Not necessarily the plane you're standing on is an elevation angle. It's just an elevation angle is an angle with respect to the plane of reference. So your eye level and to the celestial object is your elevation angle. Now that is measured.
Hold on,
because
George.
That is measured because you God. You are using
George. Please, can everyone else shut up while it's obviously a struggle for these two to not talk through each other the entire time. John's halfway through and George is interrupting. Can everyone else just can it?
You're using a calculation based on your height of eye to establish the horizontal plane of reference. There is your elevation angle.
Your elevation angle then is not a measurement, John, based off of your standards.
It is if you have a horizontal plane to take it from.
after. We are not talking about that. We're talking about at sea with a marine sextant. You need to. You need to correct. You need to make a correction, right, to what you get with your sextant to get that horizontal plane. Now, I have no hassle calling it a measurement. I have no hassle.
Brian, you can't just keep going after you've made your statement that's obviously going to warrant a response.
Continue being involved in this conversation.
Because you're waffling on after you've made your statement that he wants to respond to, and now you're not letting me take charge. Brian, Brian.
I can't do that.
Yeah, because I'm trying to take charge and you won't allow me.
You're not taking charge.
I am.
You're just not listening to what I'm saying. You're not allowing me to finish what I'm saying.
You're telling us what you're not saying. I heard the first 3 words. I'm not saying means I don't need to hear it. We don't need to hear what you're not saying.
That's not what I said. That is not what I said. So you're not listening, as I said, which proved you're not listening. I'm wasting my time here because you have a bias, Nathan.
The problem is Brian wasn't allowed to finish.
Neil, bloody hell. Now it's Neil I've got to try and take control of. Neil, for the love of Jesus. It's hard enough trying to keep control of Brian and Neil, Brian and John. Well, I've just take a hint. I've just told George to can it.
Go ahead. Floor's all yours, Brian.
Did someone ask me to go ahead?
Well, he's not being allowed to finish. You don't have anything to say now.
Go ahead with what?
You don't have anything to say now?
Go ahead with what? As soon as I start talking, you can't shut up. But it'll be then Nathan will come in and say, Brian, you're over talking John.
Go ahead,
and the
Brian.
point of the making will be gone.
Well done, John. Well done, John. John. Okay, John, stop. Brian, go ahead.
What, Nathan? The point I was trying to make is pointless now because it's gone. What's the point? You're not going to allow me to finish anything. You're going to allow me to finish it 7 fucking minutes later.
Please don't swear.
What's the point? So I don't care. You go along with John. You can believe anything John says. I don't care. How about that? Anything John says, even though he's wrong, you can believe anything he says. I know what I'm
You don't know why I'm wrong, but you can say it, right?
I know what I'm talking about, John. John, if you're making a correction to what you do with the sextant, then that means that the elevation angle is not a measurement.
No, that means that
you're not measuring because you're claiming. No, I have no hassle. I have no hassle.
Well done, John. Okay, right. Obviously, stop. Brian obviously had a bit more. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, of course I have a bit more, but every time I go to get there, your body comes in, and then you come in the same. So either you want me, this is a serious question, Nathan. Either you want me to continue this on here, or you don't. Just give me yes or no, I don't care.
Don't ask me a question if you don't want me to answer it, Brian.
I'm talking to Nathan.
I hear a question, and then I hear you carrying on, and I stop you.
That's not an answer to my question, Nathan.
Yeah,
That's
I do
not
want
an
you to continue. Yes,
it's
carry
not
on.
an answer to my question.
Yes,
Nathan.
please feel free to continue, Brian. Hopefully at one
No,
point.
do you want me? Not feel free. Do you want me or not to continue on with this?
Yes, keep answering you. Yes.
So you do want me. Okay, then. Right. Then permit me to do it then, Nathan.
Go ahead.
Cannot see how you can claim, right, that the elevation angle is a measurement, right, but claim that the distance between the observer and the GP is not a measurement, when the elevation angle that you're referencing has to have a correction from an actual measure, from a measurement up port. Now, I have no hassle with the whole lot being a measurement. I'm fine about that. But if someone wants to get pedantic and say there isn't a measurement between the observer and the GP point, then no, I'm sorry, that's wrong. But if you want to take that standard, then I'll bring it all the way back to the height of eye measurement and say that's the only measurement, using that standard. So it's up to yourselves. Either you have a measurement of the Earth or you don't have.
Okay. May I speak now?
Can John now respond?
Is it okay that the special boy gets a turn to talk now? Yeah, do I have to? Is it? I'm asking permission.
Just stop. Drop that bit.
Be from Brian.
Just respond. Otherwise, there's no consistency. You've heard his full position put to you, unimpeded. Please don't interrupt him, Brian. Go ahead, John.
Right. The angle you take between the horizon and the celestial body is a measurement. That is an angle measurement. You do a calculation to get your elevation angle in that circumstance. But an elevation angle does not require a sextant. That's what you're missing. You can do an elevation angle with sticks and shadows in the ground. Any level plane, you can get an elevation angle measurement. So in this one specific circumstance, no, it's technically not a measurement. Yeah, you could argue that, but you don't need that tool. That's the difference, and that's what you don't understand.
No, I don't understand.
Valid calculations.
Hold on, just both of you stop. Both of you stop. So stop. Did you have a bit more to add, John?
Yes. Valid calculation based on measurement are just as valid as measurement.
Okay, you done, John?
Well, yes, I am done, but it won't be addressed. So
we'll
go
see.
ahead.
Don't tell me what won't happen. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, John is trying to claim a measurement for something that he requires a calculation for. Because I have no hassle with the whole lot being a measurement. But when someone tells me that the distance between the observer and the GP point is not a measurement, when it's in actual miles, you can give it in statute with miles, that means it is a measurement of a distance between 2 points. Right? You're not calculating a distance. You're actually measuring that distance via the celestial body. You have to make corrections here for height of eye and different things with the marine sextant, grand. But if John is trying to say that that is not a measurement, then I can't allow the elevation angle part of that to be a measurement thing, because that's what the whole thing is. That is the elevation angle. So how can the elevation angle be a measurement if the adjacent of it is not a measurement? And you can't get the elevation angle power without using the measurement of the height of eye. If I want to get real pedantic about it, like John got.
Hold on, John. Hold on, John. Carry on, Brian.
I don't care anymore. I literally don't care, Nathan. I don't care now. I don't care. Do what you want with it. I don't care.
Well, if I may, John, hold on 1 second. If I just summarise Brian's position, because he's saying he's had enough. So, if I understand your position correctly, you're saying you're happy to call what is an elevation angle measurement after calculation with dip. You're happy to call all of that when you get the end distance a measurement. But if we're to say that, or John is to say specifically, that isn't because you've made a calculation, it doesn't mean it's inaccurate, but the elevation angle measurement isn't the measurement of distance, which it isn't, because you have to calculate that. But you're saying, no, I'm happy to just accept that is a measured distance. Correct?
Yeah, if it's accepted that the distance is a measured distance, then great. But if someone wants to say that's just a calculation, then I can bring them back through the steps and show where other things can be just defined as calculation all the way back to the measurement of the height of eye port.
Okay.
I can do that.
Fine. Can John respond?
Which is pointless. Okay. I don't need to do it. It's not productive. But if I have to do it, I will.
Stop. Please don't tell us what isn't productive. Just let John respond. Thanks.
The height of eye is a measurement. Yes, you're taking out a tape measure. Your conceptual unit would be done in inches or feet or whatever. You have your conceptual unit. You're tying it to an aspect of reality, height. Angle, right? You're taking your conceptual unit, which is a line, and drawing it from your eye to the horizon, from your eye to the celestial object. That's a measurement. It is not an elevation angle measurement in this specific case until you apply a calculation. You can say that's not a measurement, and I would agree with you because you had to apply a calculation. However, an elevation angle is not dependent upon a sextant to get it. You could use a double sextant, which does not utilize the horizon, is not part of the measurement. But that gives you just an elevation angle measurement without correction. You could use a stick in the ground as your vertical with the horizontal plane of reference, giving you your elevation angle. That is a measurement, though. That's the difference. That's what you're missing.
I'm not missing anything, John. I'm fully aware of all the things you're saying, totally fully aware of them. What you're missing is that when you try and state at the end that the adjacent length is not a measurement, it's like, I'm sorry, no, that's if you're going to go down that road using the marine sextant we were talking about, then I can bring it back and be pedantic about other steps, which is, and be non-productive. None of this is productive.
Okay, stop. Can I just step in for one second?
That's what I was talking about, Nathan.
Just 1 second.
Okay, if I can just get in there for a second.
No, just let me just drop one thing in, please, Jin. So, Brian, if you're doing the rubber ducky life preserver argument, right, and you're in the water taking an elevation angle measurement, so you'd, just for the sake of this, you'd concede that there's no correction, right? Well, when you do that, if you're getting the distance from that angle, the elevation angle measurement meets the definition. That's to say that it's taken with respect to the horizontal plane the observer is standing on if you're physically in the water with the marine sextant. But that distance is still a calculation because you're taking the measurement, minusing from 90, timesing by 60. You're doing things with it that is calculating after the fact. So the measurement in terms of elevation angle measurement can definitely be called a measurement, even with a marine sextant, if you're in a life preserver in the water, but it still doesn't alter that the distance isn't referenceable as a quote-unquote measurement because you're calculating it with the elevation angle measurement, not physically measuring it with a unit like a tape measure. You're calculating it with the angle. You're deriving it from the angle, meeting the definition of calculation, not measurement.
Okay, Nathan, what you've just pointed out, and let's just say we could even use the bubble sextant for this, that you're measuring an elevation angle, but the adjacent of that elevation angle is not part of the measurement.
Yes, it is. It's part of the angle measurement. And only the
No,
angle...
you just
let me respond. I'm responding. Let me just respond.
Hang on.
Yeah, well, I'm responding to you, and you've given me 3 words. You're doing what you were doing to John, and now you're not stopping.
I wasn't doing anything to John.
We're talking straight through the top of his doing it. I got 3 words. I got 3 words. Now you haven't stopped interrupting. It's about the 60-second mark. No, the angle measurement uses the baseline as part of the reference for the angle measurement, which is a measurement. The distance along the baseline is something you will get after you apply that measurement to a calculation.
An elevation angle is a right angle triangle. So as soon as you measure that right angle, triangle, right, you then might determine, right, by subtracting it from 90 and multiplying it by 60, the distance along the adjacent. But you can't measure that right angle triangle. You can't measure that and then say the adjacent of it has not been measured.
It has.
It's contradicting.
It has.
It's contradicting itself.
It's measured as part of the angle measurement. Just said that.
Yeah, but then you said the distance is a calculation.
Correct.
But the distance is the length of the adjacent.
Yeah, and you get that after you've applied calculations to the measurement of the angle, which does include the baseline as part of the measurement of the angle.
You find out the length of the adjacent via the calculation.
Yes, that's John's point. Yes, yes, John, you carry on. That's John's point. Yes, precisely. Brian, John, carry on.
No, but this is still a contradiction. You're claiming to measure an elevation angle, but from use a bubble section if you want, measure an elevation angle, right, using a horizontal plane of reference, but then you're claiming the horizontal plane of reference is not measured, when it is, and it's in miles. That's the point.
Okay, fine. I got you.
It's like,
I got your objection. I got it. I got it.
This makes no sense.
I got it. Yeah, in that case, and again, John did go through this. It's just you were kind of rumpusy, and so was he to a certain extent, a lot less, I'll be honest. It's not because he's my buddy, right? In that instance, the plane of reference isn't the ground, though, when you're using a bubble sextant.
Because you listen to him more than me.
Bear with me. The plane of reference isn't the ground in that instance. So when we're trying to prove the ground is flat, part of the measurement, because Earth's measured flat, when we're talking about angle in a rubber ducky life preserver that's being measured, And the baseline, the ground, is the horizontal plane of reference in that instance. When you use a bubble sextant, the horizontal plane of reference is eye level. But that's parallel with the ground, so it still functions the same. But that isn't such a good flat earth proof, is it? Because you're using a different calculation. When you say, because of this principle calculatable in terms of the parallel nature of the ground below the horizontal plane of reference I established with the tool, well, you're not measuring Earth flat then, are you? You're measuring the eye level as flat.
No, but see, you're missing a bit of point here. When you say Earth is measured flat, and then you claim that the distance is not a measurement, then you're not measuring Earth, because the distance is in units along the surface of Earth.
No. The baseline
You're literally
for the...
contradicting your own statement.
Let's try once more. The only measurement is the elevation angle measurement. I've put this in comments no less than 1,000 times as responses to fundies. Oh, how's Earth measured flat? With an elevation angle measurement. Because the angle measurement itself has the baseline as part of the measurement of the angle. And in the case of an elevation angle, that's specifically a baseline that is the point you're standing on. If you're not standing on it, it's not that measurement. So that's where John's putting it to you, that when you do the correction, he'll say, fine, I'll accept that that isn't a flat Earth measurement because you're having to imply a calculation to get you to be at the angle you'd be if you were standing on the plane of reference used in an elevation angle measurement. It's part of the definition. So he's conceding to you in that regard, but as soon as you get to the 0 point to measure this angle, the angle measurement itself references a flat baseline that is Earth. That's part of that measurement. It just isn't the distance measurement, which is extrapolated out after by calculation. But the Earth measurement itself is the angle measurement with respect to a flat baseline for the angle. That's still a measurement. It's just an angle measurement, not a distance measurement. That'll come after.
Yeah, but what you're just stating, Nathan, is because you don't know the distance along the adjacent, that means you have to do a calculation to get that distance that you're claiming is then just a calculation, not a measured distance.
That's correct.
That means that up until that point, then you could only have an adjacent. You're kind of stating that up until that point, your adjacent could be 4 inches long. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, it could. Well, yes, you're right. With the correction, it wouldn't matter if your horizon was 5 feet away, so long as you can see it. It'd still work, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but I'm talking about the adjacent, I said.
Sorry, I thought...
the adjacent. Yeah, my point being is that you're saying, no, we don't get a distance until we do the calculation, and then it's not a measurement. The distance is not a measurement, it's a calculation.
That's
I don't know how you can calculate a distance, because distances need to be measured before you could ever do anything with calculation.
Gotcha. No, the base principle has to be established, which is when we start with the principle that 1 degree will give us 60 nautical miles. That's a principle that we've established through research, so we can apply it to a system that we can then derive distances through measuring the angles. So the system has given us the ability to calculate the distance. It still isn't a measurement, though.
Well, at that point, your statement of Earth is measured flat concerning this goes out the window concerning this.
No, it doesn't.
Not for me, but for you it does. It does for you, because you just claimed a calculation, not a measurement.
No. I'm not saying Earth is measured flat with the distance along the baseline. That is not my claim.
Well, you're not measuring. You have no proof of anything. Then.
Yeah, I have. Let me explain. So when you're measuring the angle, the angle is only acquirable. That's an elevation angle off the flat baseline that is Earth. Let me define it. The altitude angle, sometimes referred to as solar elevation angle, describes how high the sun appears in the sky. The angle is measured between an imaginary line between the observer and the sun and the horizontal plane the observer is standing on. So part of the measurement is very specifically the horizontal plane you're standing on. You must have that to make this measurement. The measurement is between an imaginary line between you and the light in the sky and the horizontal plane that is part of this measurement, specifically elevation angle or altitude angle, interchangeable.
Yeah, but you're claiming Earth is measured flat.
It is.
Large distances.
Yes.
Hang on. Large distances, right? But then you're claiming that the adjacent of the elevation angle is just a calculation. That's not measurement, and that is the very thing that's supposed to be measured. For you, what you're stating, because of the standard you're using, right, is that the standard you're using is stating to me that because you don't know the length of the adjacent, that means the adjacent could be any length, which is including just 4 inches. And that's not going to prove the Earth is anything, is it?
I counted.
No, I'm saying
The point is that when you're claiming that the distance is just a calculation, then that means your adjacent, which is the absolute proof of what you're claiming. You're claiming your proof, your measurement proof is just a calculation.
No, it's a measurement.
That's essentially what you're claiming.
Angle is a measurement. You're doing the same the other guy did the other week when he's like, well, you're not measuring for flatness. No, we're not measuring for flatness. We're not measuring for distance. We're measuring for angle off a flat
that doesn't
Earth.
prove. That
Why are
doesn't
you
prove
interrupting me?
anything.
I'm being rumpused. No, I'll try that a second time. We're not measuring for flatness, and we're not measuring for distance. This measurement is not a distance measurement. It's an angle measurement that absolutely unequivocally requires and proves Earth is flat because it's part of the measurement of angle.
You're not listening to me. You're not listening. You're not taking on board what I'm trying to tell you. Because you're claiming that the adjacent of that right angle triangle, the distance along that adjacent is unknown until you do the calculation, and then you're calling that a calculated distance. Until you do that, once you say that's a calculated distance, then that's not a measurement of distance, right? That's fine. You've said
Correct.
It's not a measurement of distance.
So far, so good.
But that doesn't. But then the adjacent could be 4 inches long at that point.
No, it couldn't.
Because you haven't measured the adjacent according to you.
Okay, I'll accept that. Fine. What you're saying is, okay, fine.
Due to that standard.
Oh, God, I'll just give it back to you.
It doesn't
Can I just confirm? I'm never going to get to it. No, I see your frustration. It's obviously because I'm my own best friend that I'm getting rumpus all shit. No, your argument is that it could be 4 inches long. It's irrelevant because you're not measuring for a length. You're measuring an angle. And the distance along the baseline at the point of measurement is irrelevant. It could be infinite. It isn't relevant because it's not a distance measurement. It's an angle measurement. Off a flat Earth.
But that's not proving your claim there.
It is. It's a measurement
it's not proving your claim
Earth.
Because I couldn't put a 4 inch on a globe. I couldn't have a 4 inch adjacent on a globe. Do you understand what I mean?
Okay, answer me this, Brian. Okay, fine. Brian, I got your point. I got your point. Yeah, I heard. Can't get 4 inches on a globe or a flat Earth. Yeah, I heard you. Okay, how many inches are in 60 degrees? Go.
I'd have to calculate that.
You would, but that doesn't answer my question. How many inches are in a measurement? I'm going to make it absolutely unequivocally certain so you understand I am physically measuring 60 degrees right now. Give me the inches.
Well, at that point, you're just measuring degrees.
Exactly.
You don't have a proof of anything.
Exactly.
You don't have a proof of anything, Nathan, at that point, because you haven't shown any distance that matters.
Okay, I heard you don't have a proof of anything. Now I'd like to respond without being rumpus-tool shit. Thank you. No, you do, because the measurement specifically uses Earth.
As your adjacent that you're appealing to the length of.
Exactly. It is the adjacent. It's the horizontal plane you're standing on. It is the measurement.
Adjacent?
The length, how many, 60 degrees, how many inches? Give it me in feet. 60 degrees in feet,
please. You can't give me a length to this, so it doesn't prove the Earth to be flat then.
Yeah, the adjacent is the Earth, and it is ipso facto flat for it to be an angle measurement, which it is. It's an Earth-based angle measurement.
No, actually, Nathan, no, because if I use your standard again, then we're going to go back to that the angle you're taking with a marine sextant has to be adjusted, so it has to be adjusted with a measurement of a height of Y. Port.
Going round
The
in
point
circles.
I'm making, Nathan.
No,
The point I'm making. We're not going around in
We've
circles.
done this. We've
You're
done this
missing the
once.
point
We've
here.
done this once. We've gone round in circles.
No,
No,
you're missing
a
the
marine
point here.
sextant isn't
You're
an
missing the
elevation
point.
angle measuring device. It's an angle measuring device. An elevation
If
angle
you're saying the
measurement.
distance is not a measurement, then you have no proof. That's the end of that.
Just rumpusing me. You've already had
No,
this
I'm just telling you this.
Now
It's
he's going to
just the truth.
continually rumpus me. I'll try once more. Third attempt. Brian will undoubtedly start the start of my rebuttal. No, you've already had this gone through once with you, John. No, an elevation angle measuring device is not a sextant. It's an angle measuring device. An elevation angle measurement is something more specific. And if you're using a sextant on a deck of a ship, you have to correct your angle measuring device's measurement to the surface you aren't standing on, because you must be standing on it for it to be an elevation angle measurement. If you're not standing on it, you've got to do a calculation to correct to it. But that, Brian, has already been put to you by John, and he accepted that at that point, when you do the correction, then you can quite happily argue that that isn't an elevation angle measurement, because you're having to apply a calculation to make it one. However, an elevation angle measurement itself very specifically requires Earth as part of the reference plane in the measurement itself, which is of an angle, not a distance. Earth is measured flat with an elevation angle. It's part of the measurement. It's the baseline. The adjacent.
Not according to you, Nathan.
Not according to me.
According to you,
No,
Earth
no,
is
no,
calculated
no,
to be
no, no,
Earth is calculated to be possibly flat.
No,
That's what I'm
Rumpusing
hearing.
Eli.
No, you've just...
What are you doing? Go ahead, Brian.
because no, it's silly. No, because this zero. That's the part of the angle that's one portion of the angle that you need that they keep telling you need zero. Like you saying, well, if you don't have a distance, no, the measurement is zero in whatever the body is above that in degrees. You saying that what are you talking about, Brian?
What I'm saying is that Nathan is throwing away his own proof by calling the distance a calculation. That's what I've been trying to say.
No, him calling it a calculation doesn't change what I just told you.
But that
which makes what he's saying a solid statement.
It doesn't prove anything, is my point. What he's saying there doesn't make it doesn't
prove, doesn't
show
make what I
and
just
prove
said untrue.
It doesn't show and prove anything. If that's the standard, it doesn't show and prove anything.
You saying that it doesn't prove anything means nothing, because that doesn't that doesn't undo the fact that what I just said to him in the beginning is true. Him saying that, Nathan saying that doesn't prove anything doesn't make what I said untrue, which we know if you're getting a zero, you're using the Earth to establish a zero to get an angle, which means you're measuring it flat. In terms of orientation, that's what straight means, zero.
I'm going to have to go in a minute. I am not going to call that distance a calculation. I'll be calling that a measurement, because that's what it is.
That's wrong.
If you want to call it a calculation, then you can, because it's a distance in statute and nautical miles. That's not a calculation. Between 2 points on the surface of Earth. If you want to call it a calculation, you're throwing away your own proof.
How so?
He's not going to rationalize his non sequitur. He's just going to state it.
Calculations don't prove things. Measurements prove things.
Yeah, but we're talking about the surface of the Earth.
Yeah, but we're not. We're actually talking about the adjacent of the right angle triangle. That is being called a calculation. The length of that adjacent. It's been called a calculation.
It is.
That's what it is. That's what. It's not.
It is, though. That's like, I
It
mean, because
happens to be
for God's
hold
sakes,
on.
Brian, you can only have one ruler, right? But you know, one ruler is 1 foot, and you can apply some calculations to figure out how many rulers are going to equate to whatever distance you don't actually have in ruler length. That would be a calculator. Wouldn't be you. I mean, come on, bro. Like, you're splitting hairs right here.
But the point is, though, you can validate this calculation. People call it celestial navigation. That's the difference.
Exactly. You
How
can
you navigate
it's a good point.
But the
Hold on, no,
initial
that's an excellent. That's the
calculation-
best point. It's been made by my favourite panel member too, which is just brilliant. No, you can validate the calculation after the fact for its accuracy. Still doesn't make it a measurement. It can be validated.
Yeah, I'm not so sure, guys, that it's a calculate. I think you'll find it's a calibration.
What's a calibration? You're stepping in, and I don't know which bit you're referring to.
Well, that first bit, the height of eye, is calibrating the device. Then you take the measurement from a calibrated device. You don't need a calculation at that point. Calculate
I like
the
this.
distance.
I like this. So you're saying it's still a measurement of an altitude angle with a calibration of height of eye. Therefore, still a measurement. Okay.
It's
I would, well,
has
hold
to
on.
be
I would
a
concede
measurement.
I would concede to that. I would concede to that. Yes.
So would I.
But see, I don't know if a calibration can be defined as not calculable. Because
Yeah,
you're
no,
still having to calculate it. I don't know, but I will
Okay, so
concede it is a calibration. If you
got
can
a thermometer.
define the difference, I'll accept it.
Yeah, I've got a thermometer. Yeah, and I know that it's 1 degree out. Right, so I can still go around and measure the temperature of things, knowing that I've got to calibrate it. Yeah, just take one off. Now, similar equivalents to that would be height of eye. It's pretty much if it was just my height of eye, it's going to be 6 foot. But it depends on which boat I'm on, whichever. That's the calibration based on the boat.
Fine.
All right, I position. So the height of using a marine sextant is giving you an elevation angle. With
However, this expands out my position quite nicely as a measurement, which is wonderful, but it doesn't actually address the contentious point where Brian is asserting that minus from 90 times by 60, that's going to be called a measurement, and I can't accept that, Adam. It's a calculation. The distance in celestial navigation is calculated with respect to the angle you've measured, a calibrated angle or otherwise. So no offence, that's kind of non sequitur.
Nathan, how did they determine what 1 degree of angular measurement was in distance along the Earth?
They watched what Polaris did and created an arbitrary value called a nautical mile, which divided nicely by 60 into 1 degree of change. Why am I getting rumpus, it seems? Just answering the question, it seems. Obviously not going to be tolerated.
Yeah, but that's not what they did. They didn't do that. They took known landmarks and distances between them in statute miles, and they determined that 69.048 statute miles gives you 1 degree of angular change to Polaris. They can do the same thing with other Earth land-based units that are measurements of the land, straight line distances, but that's what they did. And if you divide that by 60 minutes, right? If you divide that by 60, so you can turn the minutes into nautical miles. Nautical miles are, when you turn them into nautical miles, are a distance in statute miles. Then you get 60 nautical miles will be 1.1508 statute miles for every 1 nautical mile. So the point being is that you're claiming it's just a calculation. How can it be just a calculation when you're working off of an actual measurement of distance?
No. It's not just a calculation. It's not just a calculation. It is a valid calculation. So it doesn't change that it's a calculation. It's just a valid calculation, which is just as impressive as a measurement, really. But it doesn't change the fact that it's a calculation. It's not a measurement.
I have to go,
Latitude 50.
but
Is that a
I completely
measurement?
disery. I completely disagree. Before I go, I'm
This was a lot calmer than the
I
last.
completely disagree.
Well, let's just thank Brian if he's got to go. Thank you, because we've done this. This is the 20th time we've done this, and it gets calmer and more concise and better each time. So I'm still grateful that it's being done. It's refining us and our understanding. It's good.
Okay, we'll take it up another time.
You're my
See you later.
favourite, Brian. I love
Really
you.
what we're
Love
trying
you.
to do. What we're trying to do is take the optical plane that we're trying to take measurements from and apply it to the actual plane we'll be traversing. And that's where we get the celestial sphere model, because it's trying to incorporate those two things. And we use that to navigate with. Doesn't make any of these things invalid or wrong. It's only when you reify these things and try to use them outside of the convention they're used for that you're wrong.
Right, this all functions quite nicely within the conventions we've derived from the positional systems of observing the stars, where they're above at given times. That's it. It does match, it does work, because we've back engineered it and checked where our arbitrary scaled values with numbers attached to them will calculate into distances that we observe when we back away from Polaris, so the two numbers can match. Okay, well, that's very clever of us to develop a system that we can then use when we're out at sea to figure out where we are with respect to a star that doesn't move, and our distance from that on a system we call latitude. Now, all of those systems, when we put them into practice and measure Earth flat with an elevation angle, we can then calculate the distance to various different points below stars to find out where the hell we are. Very, very useful, and functionally being used to this day. Now, when John says it's just as impressive that the calculation functions, what did you call it? An accurate calculation? Or words to that effect?
A valid calculation.
Valid calculation. That's to say, the purpose and its function actually works correctly and can be double-checked by different means. So if you ran a tape measure at the distance in miles, it would match. But you haven't got the facility to do that. That's why the system's been developed so well, off the back of flat Earth angles to stars, in all respects. But the only thing that's the flat Earth measurement is, in this instance, the height with respect to a horizontal plane of reference for height of eye, to do your calibration, and the elevation angle itself, because that's part of the measurement of the angle. It's an angle off the flat Earth. There's no other way to describe it, because that's precisely what it is.
I would like to give Adam some props on that. I conceded a point that I didn't have to.
You did, and it made me happy, because I'm like, okay, fine. If it's decriable based on the fact that you've got to calibrate the tool, then I'll have to relinquish saying that that's a flat Earth measurement when you take a elevation angle measurement with the sextant at sea, because you're not taking a strictly speaking measurement. It's got to be corrected with a calculation to surface level. No, you calibrate your tool based on what you took with an angle with a height of eye measurement at port, but that's to calibrate your tool so you can take an elevation angle measurement, and that's precisely what you do, which is great.
Yeah, I didn't have to concede that. That was dumb of me. Thank you, Adam.
The contentious point is still in contention as far as Brian's concerned, which is a bit unnerving. But that's fine. I'm sure it'll come up for a 21st time.
I don't see how distance of the adjacent is relevant when you're talking about an angle. That's later in the calculation. I still don't see its relevance.
It is exactly the same as the other guy when he's like, well, that's not measuring for flatness. You're like, no, that's not what we're measuring. We're measuring for angle. Well, how's that going to tell me how flat Earth is?
Yeah.
That was
And
that
if you
guy.
look,
What was
if you
his
do it
name?
for latitude, and if you do it for latitude, it's in degrees, it's not in miles.
Yep. Exactly. You give it in degrees as well, don't you? You don't say I'm at this many miles latitude. You give it in degrees, because that's what it is.
Correct.
That's the only measurement
That's
you're
the
taking, and it's the
measurement.
only one you declare. Exactly.
Correct.
Sorry, I cut you off, didn't I, George? That would have saved us about 20 minutes, and I shut you up. Sorry.
That's all right.
You cut off George.
I think Brian's
George
point
is my
was that
favorite, by
it's.
the way.
I think Brian's point was that you're not calculating; you're actually just doing a conversion.
Who is this?
Conversion's another term for calculation. You know that, right?
So if you're doing miles to kilometers, would that be a calculation?
Favorite astrophysicist in the chat. You want to say hello, Neil?
Neil deGrasse Tyson's
Danny's
here.
in the chat.
No way.
Yep.
Oh, Danny.
Now hold on there, John. Can you give us a citation for that being a synonym?
That a conversion is another term for calculation. It's a specific calculation, but it falls under the calculation, yes.
I'm only asking because I looked it up and I don't see it in the list of synonyms, so I just wanted to have it.
Well, no, it would be a specific. It would be like a Chihuahua is a specific type of dog. It would be under the category.
No, because earlier I thought of conversion and it didn't hit me as calculation. You're saying it is. I just didn't get a chance to say it earlier. I was like, well, what if isn't that a conversion? So
what are you doing?
Like a conversion would be like, well, this is I don't know, in ounce, and we need like, or like this is a cup and we need like 8 ounces or something.
Well, it doesn't matter, Eli. Once John said it was a conversion, it's right. So just go with it.
Yeah, but it does matter because like if I have 8 ounces of something, and I'm like, okay, well, what is this in cups? Oh, it's 1 cup. It's still the same measure. Just now we're saying it's 1 cup instead of 8 ounces.
I know exactly what you're saying, but
can I just second?
said it, so it's right.
Can I just second
Right,
Neil's
Neil?
sentiment, though? I just want to
Why do you
second
talk?
Neil's sentiment, which is that if John says it, it's just right. Just go with it.
Right. So you would use a calculation to convert it from a cup to an ounce. What's wrong with that?
Go ahead, Nathan. Exactly.
It still
It's not a
feels
measurement
like
anymore.
It's a measurement.
Exactly. It's not a measurement, it's a conversion. So if you're measuring something in ounces and you want to give it in grams and it's not on the scale, then you convert it. You go, well, did you measure it? Yeah, I did. I measured it in ounces. And then converted it.
Yeah, but if I have
Nothing's wrong with that. You just can't call it a measurement in grams because it isn't a measurement in grams.
It's still better.
A measurement in cups.
You know why?
Instead.
Because we think
It's a measurement of cups instead, isn't it?
We think that calculation is a dirty word because they want to claim that they're calculations based off of measurements we've never seen.
Valid.
Like you said, though, this is a valid calculation. So it's different. It's not dirty.
If you're going to claim sphericity with a starting point of a flat Earth, that's not a valid calculation. Because if the outcome, with an affirming the consequent, is sphericity as the conclusion, then it's flawed. Therefore, not a valid measure, not a valid calculation.
Calculation.
Calculation. That's right, Neil.
Yeah, y'all just got some words. It's like science used to be a dirty word, you know?
Yep.
Y'all got some ideas about calculation that just aren't true.
What did you want to add, Jin, by the way? Because I cut you off as well very rudely.
Yeah, no, it's right, Nathan. I was just going to say, so when you want to calculate a spherical curvature, you have to calculate it from a horizontal plane of reference to get that curvature. Is that correct?
Yes, making it an invalid calculation. Yes, precisely.
Thank you. Right, that's it.
That's a dirty calculation.
It's just invalid. fallacious, if you will. I don't know what the mathematical term for fallacious would be, but that would be the equivalent. A fallacious argument isn't sound logic. Well, this isn't a sound calculation. If you're calculating curve from flat measurements.
Right. There's no well, to give an example, right? To form your conversion so that you can use the calculation to convert it, right? You would have to have two of the same, right? So you would get a cup and have that amount, and then you would have to have that amount equal in grams, and they would have to be interchangeable, and then you can use that to come up with your calculation. I think they call it they got a specific name for it, like when they compare units of temperature. It's a trans-dimensional analysis, something like that. It's got a specific name. Calculation's got a bad rap, but if you do it right, it's just as valid as anything else.
Well, the bell curve swung, or whatever, the pendulum swung too far the other way for the globers. Picture 7 years ago when math is reality from Red Rhetoric. Well, what he's saying is the calculations of a globe Earth are the arbiter of reality. And they're like, no, you've got invalid calculations. But when he was saying math is reality, he's taken it too far to the other extreme to say that calculations are always right. Well, no. Some of them are fallacious, as I've been describing them, to compare them with the English comparison in argumentation. But it's mathematics, so it's just invalid.
Right. But that's where we're getting a lot of the pushback now, it seems, is pendulum, as you described it, is swung too far. Instead of it just being the standard, it's gone to something that it's being compared to something it can't be.
Yeah, measurements are great, and what the globers have done is said calculations are the arbiter of reality. And their calculations were invalid because their calculations of their sphere reality were based on flat Earth measurements. Oh, what a conclusion.
Yeah, it's not right because I say it is, Neil. That's not the standard.
Oh, I don't know.
It is for Nathan.
All hail. I hate the fact that Brian seems to think that's some sort of win when he's like, oh, you're just taking sides. No, I'm not. Just say you're wrong.
Stop it. John's your special boy.
Whatever. You can believe that if you want.
That's absurd.
No, what's absurd is when you and Brian first start, you just talk through each other, and we can't understand a word from anybody's side. And I understand Nathan's coming in to try and get clarity, so I don't understand why Brian's fighting against that. I just can't understand any of you when you're both talking.
But it's normally Brian that starts the interrupting and then cries foul. I'm sorry, Brian.
No, that's not true. No, see, that's not true. I was hearing it on both sides. I was hearing John interrupt too.
John never interrupts. How dare you?
I usually do it after I've been interrupted or I've been strawmanned multiple times. I'll get irritated after a while, Neil.
Okay, with that being said, in the spirit of Rodney King, can't we all just get along?
That would be irrelevant. Well, yeah, hold on. Let's take it from the I am Nathan's special boy. How does that prove what I'm saying is true or not?
It doesn't. No one's going to answer you clearly.
Because it's a non sequitur to bring it up. It's a tactic, as we like to call them. But it's not necessarily.
Brian, hold on. If Brian is feeling like you're getting special treatment, I'm sure it's not coming out of the blue. There's a reason why he feels that way.
Yeah, because John's often right, and I'll often clear the airwaves for people who are right more than people who aren't. Therefore, special favourite boy? Bollocks. No.
Yeah, but you guys were focusing on the step 2 of the elevation. Because the first step is when you bring the celestial to the horizon at the tangent point, and you do read 90 degree when you say mark, then you calculate the height of eye from the observer to the GP. But the first one is on the 90 degree when you bring the celestial to the horizon at the 90 degree. That's a direct measurement.
I
Then your
apologize.
acute angle.
I conceded to the second point of the discussion.
Yeah.
And I
Correct.
conceded that. You're right. I am sorry. I did do that, but it was just because it was Brian. If it had been a Glover, I would not have given him such privilege.
Yeah, I'm with you. But if your angle of elevation above the horizon is, for example, to Polaris, that is, 45 degrees, you are on latitude 45. I mean, you don't need to convert anything. It's in degrees already. There is no calculations necessary. There is nothing necessary to calculate. You have a direct measurement to Polaris. You are on latitude 45.
So Earth is measured flat.
Exactly.
No, that's
now you
George.
can convert latitude
That's George.
45 into miles and find the distance, but your latitude is in degrees.
That's George getting in my ass for conceding the argument 2 steps in, just because I'm treating Brian special.
Well, like I said, to start this all off, the globe is measured flat.
Calculations for a globe are measured flat. The measurements that you calculate a globe with are flat. I don't know. Yeah, I guess you could say. I mean, it's just a train wreck of logic, though, isn't it?
Well, he's saying it poetically. He's saying it poetically and in fun of the globers who think they've got a globe when they haven't, because every measurement they make is coming from a flat Earth. So that globe they're believing in is coming from a flat Earth. Is that not right now, Neil?
Yeah, I mean, poetically, yeah, it is kind of funny. You know what I mean? But as a standalone statement, I don't think you would get away with it.
That's the Mike Tyson way of fighting, man. That's the Mike Tyson way of fighting as your flat earther. Neil is like that, you know. He doesn't want to play around with his food. He gets right in, bang, 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 and it's all over. There you go. That's it. That's what it's
That's
about.
pretty much what I meant when I said before, you know, in literature, it's allowed to use an oxymoron to describe something. And this is pretty much what's happening. The globe measures flat is an oxymoron. And in poetry, it's quite
You said that as well,
allowed.
George. George said that. Yeah, George said that. And I was laughing when you said that. And then I said a moron poxy. Yeah, I love it.
I have stated several times that George is my favorite.
That's what Brian said 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I can see how Brian would say George is his favorite 2 weeks ago. For sure.
The problem is, what are we going to do with these people out there making these stupid videos, not getting to the point, circling around, and never going in for the kill?
them up every time. Pull them up every time. Because it should be a slam dunk back. When you learn your martial arts, they don't teach you to take the long way round. Get him down as soon as possible. Bam, bam, down.
Lead by example. You do it yourself, and then people watch you do it and go, "Oh, that was really effective."
Yeah, but that's what I mean with Eddie Bravo. He's this fighting guy. He goes right in. He doesn't. If he can get a guy in submission, he's going to get him in submission, and he has the tools to put everybody in submission, and he's not.
Well, it's Freaky Friday. One of the reasons I like it so much is we've taken the principles that we've developed here and the standards that we've pretty much cemented in our minds here, and we're going somewhere else and showing how powerful they are. How many times have we been to the politics server, and now people have picked that up that quickly?
Yeah, I see your point. Repetition.
Well, it's Nathan's point. I'm just backing Nathan up on what he said.
That's why you're my favorite.
Yeah, but what Neil is saying, though, is that, like, Dave Wise has got all that knowledge over the years that he should have had Alex Jones on the ropes and knocked out flat with everything of his knowledge, but he didn't actually execute that. He was entertaining the stars and everything else. You mentioned flat or level, did he, in that 10 minutes or 15 minutes of nonsense? He should have been, like Nathan was saying, straight to the point. It measures flat. Get in there.
Oh, you've changed your tune.
I knew it.
Yeah, because
Neil,
I already changed my tune. Hang on, Nathan. I already put my hand up officially when it was live that I was in error. And I used the words, I was in error. And that was after what Neil said. Neil said something, and I said, yes, I am in error here because Dave Wise wasn't. And that was after you said, try and defend him. I wasn't defending him. I was just saying that he is not doing his best now. He's in error. I'm in error. And I'm wiping the shit off Dave's shit off my shoes right now. Put my hand up. I said, yes. I'm in error.
I knew that Neil did the translation.
Yeah.
The only thing Flat mentioned in that video was Flat Earth Dave. And he did anything but present Earth as being flat. So I want that name taken off of his title. He is not Flat Earth Dave.
Yeah, it should be look to the stars, Globe Dave. Look to the stars, Globe Dave, it should be.
He's not a Globe Dave, but when he brought up the telescope him and his dad used, did anyone ask him if he leveled that telescope before he used it? Because it's got these legs on it, right? They're tripod usually, and you have to get them leveled. You adjust their heights to get the plane of reference for the telescope level, so that you can use it correctly and track the stars. Did anybody point that out to him?
Something about that word level. I love it. Level.
What's up, D?
Well,
you got lunch or something?
He said it was the light above your eyes.
What's up? What was that?
Hold on. When D-Rose is here, you got to give him a little time. He only comes here on lunch. He is dedicated, D-Rose. What's up, D?
Thank you. I try. I try. I can't get in there, 'cause we have like a phone restriction here on the emergency calls and stuff like that. But I try to get in, try to get in where I can fit in. Some people don't appreciate it, but, it's all good.
Well, this is an emergency.
I know, right?
And you are welcome and appreciated.
But I love level.
Man, let off.
Did you hear any of the video? I'm assuming no, because you're working, right?
I just signed on, literally. Nathan just let me in.
Well, it was Eddie Bravo, Dave Scheidt, and Alex Jones. And they did everything but present the flat Earth, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, that was a bad
like
show on Dave's part. Definitely a bad show. Definitely.
Well, just like many protagonists, opponents, whatever, whether they're against or for, it's always feast of nonsense that they battle back and forth with these like what is begging a question claims and all of these, false equivalencies, everything going back and forth, but it's never the detailed facts of, the geometry, the measurements, the celestial navigation. And then when you break that down for them, you get a globe-tard ignoramus that comes back and there's emoji laughs or something, or says, put the pipe down. Is that all you can say? Why don't you use that as your premise and then come with a rebuttal explanation for why you think I'm wrong or why I'm on the pipe? Other than that, you're just a troll. You're just a troll that's probably sitting in your wheelchair with peanut butter on your crotch and your dog's making you enjoy yourself. That's basically what I look at you. That's what I picture when you come out of the blue like that.
Easy, D, easy.
I know. I know. I didn't use no cuss words. I didn't use no cuss words.
They have a gun with silver bullets, but they keep it in the pocket. They're not using it. They're fighting with a stick, though.
See, but George, do they have the silver bullet? That's what I'm saying. I think we got to get it to Eddie Bravo. He needs to get the silver bullet in his gun.
Yeah, he has it. He
Eddie
just doesn't
Bravo's
know yet that he has it. He doesn't know how important it is. It's like the kids playing with the matches,
But I'm saying, though, the Eddie Bravo.
Eddie Bravo did quite well as a newcomer to the Flat Earth community. He does quite well, Eddie Bravo. He did better than Dave Wise in that video.
No. He didn't do better than Dave Wise. It's not that he did better. It's just he's got a very different standard being attached to him. Right? He's not Flat Earth Eddie, is he?
Yeah, I think he represented.
The standards are different.
Represented better than Dave, anyway. Yeah, he represented better than Dave, I think, anyway, as a newcomer.
Yeah, but
if you're talking about
what I'm saying is, if we could get to Eddie and say, listen, we love the way you are, but here we have something for you here. This is called a silver bullet, and we break it down for him. He will use that everywhere.
Hold up, guys. Check this out, though. The difference between Eddie and Dave Shice is that Eddie hasn't taken the job of grabbing the badge and calling himself a Flat Earth proponent, a purporter of Flat Earth, who goes around and gets paid for lectures and things like that. Eddie Bravo just basically speaks his mind, and also Eddie has not been approached by Nathan or anybody else who can give him those silver bullets. But David has, and David chose to use wood bullets instead. So that's how
but hold on, D. Eddie did say he would like Nathan on his show, and Nathan is procrastinating instead of getting his ass on there and breaking it down for Eddie, so we don't got to hear these nonsense videos anymore.
That's true, Nathan, because he admires you. He even mentioned
totally agree.
He mentioned he's on the sound.
I don't agree with the wooden bullets. Yeah, I don't agree with the wooden bullets. Wooden bullets can still hurt. He was using foam sponge bullets, please.
Actually, we can't really hold Nathan
4 years old,
responsible.
man.
We can't hold Nathan responsible. It's on the actual viewing audience and how much they demand that Nathan be interviewed by Eddie. Because it's up to Eddie. If he has Nathan on, he can show interest without an invitation. It's on the viewing audience to demand that Eddie have Nathan on. So it's really kind of our fault in this respect.
Nathan can reach out because Eddie already stated he would love to have him on. And what you appeal to is you appeal to his fighting nature. Eddie, I can give you a submission hold in Flat Earth that will end this debate once and for all. And Eddie would want to hear it.
He has spoken highly of Nathan. He loves Nathan, in fact. So there's no problem there. He loves Nathan Oakley. So that's a marriage made in heaven. He can get on this server on this show.
But has the viewing audience of Eddie Bravo demanded of Eddie that he have Nathan on, or are they putting demands elsewhere, is what I'm asking.
Well, they're probably demanding David Weiss, but Nathan's got to bull his way in. Enough of the nonsense, enough of the English gentleman shit. Get the hell in there and set him straight.
Yeah, but one thing is not to comprehend the 2024 argument that the Earth measures flat, and the other thing is to ignore the black swan all along. It's been 4 years old, 4.5 years old now. Yeah, the black swan. The Earth is not a sphere. Full stop.
Afternoon, everybody.
George.
Why don't we have
That's
Nathan
right,
answer
George.
that question? Nathan, why have you not? Oh, what's up, y'all? Whoever that was. Let's ask Nathan. Nathan, why haven't you accepted the invitation or reached out?
I have. He said he'll have me on my show. He texted me and said I'll have to have you on my show sometime. And I was like, yeah, great.
All right, cool. Very good. So shut up, Neil.
Which puts the ball back in Eddie's court for Eddie to have a time, you know, to set that up, because it is Eddie's show. Nathan has no control over that.
Eddie might have gotten some letters from YouTube or whoever sponsors him and said, you have that Nathan Oakley on there, and we'll shut you down.
I don't know. I think the viewers really dictate what Eddie covers, you know, and if he had a bunch of people in his comments demanding, you know, if you're going to cover this topic, how can you not have Nathan Oakley on? I think it would apply. Basically, it would be on the viewers to apply that pressure, not Nathan.
No, it wouldn't. Viewers might not even know who Nathan is. But once Nathan comes through and brings it to Eddie, then the viewers will know who he is. And then you'll have more subscribers.
So Refractive, you mean to tell me that actual viewers told Eddie or, you know, wrote in and said, you better not have Nathan?
No, I'm saying that no matter how much Eddie likes Nathan, if the viewers that he is, you know, trying to make trying to keep, right, because he has a niche within YouTube, if they're not interested in seeing Nathan, then he won't have Nathan on. But I'm not saying he's saying anything. I'm just saying, as far as pressure that can be applied to Eddie, it can only be done by his viewers.
Stop sticking up for Nathan.
I think that Eddie can still educate his viewers, because he's not only keeping them, but he's educating them at times and entertaining them at other times. So he should just say, we're going to get a great flat earther on Nathan Oakley. You know, he is a stalwart. Fire on fire, this guy. He's coming on the show. Let's see what he's got for us. You know what I mean? And they're going to say, yeah. Come on, man.
On that absolutely fantastically positive note, I'm going to say, first and foremost, a huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G+ panels for making today's after show possible. And, of course, a massive thank you to all of you in either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley premiering streams for hopefully smashing the super chat, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, joining as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, and all that good stuff. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.